Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. With the onset of our first ever Fantasy Critic League, this has been a fun and exciting year for us. Get our takes on the latest games, industry news, and weekly league updates by joining us for our live recordings every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out. Audio episodes launch on all podcast services Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Central, along with the VODs on YouTube, but Patreon and Twitch subscribers can get the episodes a day or two early each week. No matter how you prefer to tune in, just know that everyone is invited to jump into our lively community Discord at discord.gg/4player. But enough about that, let's get down to business. Alright, hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 766. It is August 17th, 2023. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined, as always, by Brad Simons.
Hello.
Christopher Davis.
I'm very worried about this show tonight, guys. I really am.
Chris, it's our last one. And
What are you worried about?
Christopher Guthridge.
The grand finale. You know, if any game was going to take down 4Player Podcast, it should be Baldur's Gate 3.
That's very true.
We've been bested by a superior foe.
So, obviously, you know, we're going to talk more about Baldur's Gate 3 tonight because I think we're all suitably smitten with that game. But among other things, and I'm going to kind of spring something on y'all tonight, guys, because I didn't really talk about this prior to the recording, but I did want to kind of get y'all's take on the fact that Gamescom is next week.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get to this in a few minutes. But
Didn't Jeff Keighley already say, like, dude,
well, no, that's
seriously this time? Don't. Oh,
no.
We'll
Well, specifically, what I want to talk about, and kind of related to what you're alluding to, Brad, is that the kind of the vibe around Gamescom is a little bit different this year. And honestly, considering it's our first Fantasy Critic year, I'm here for it because Gamescom is they're kind of making it less about announcing new projects and more about giving you big updates on existing stuff that maybe we haven't heard from in a long time. It sounds to me like we're probably going to get some release dates for some things. We're going to see some things that have been kind of quiet for a while reemerge, that kind of thing.
Tekken 8,
I'm personally
Tekken 8.
Hoping for Stalker 2 and Silent Hill remake to make a...
And
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk comes out tomorrow?
Yes. It's August, man. We're in the middle of fucking
But I've not heard a peep about that. It comes out in 3 hours, it says.
Yeah, and that means more points for Nolan. Okay, so before we talk about Gamescom, I want to obviously give you all an update because some stuff, it's as always, there's been some Fantasy Critic developments in the past week.
Good stuff.
Numbers.
Brad's now in first place thanks to Baldur's Gate sitting at a 97.
I've been in first place, Nick. Come on.
I know. But
no, I think Nolan, after Pikmin came out, he was in first place again.
Yeah, I don't know. Y'all have been kind of going back and forth. But, you know, we talked a little bit about this last week. Baldur's Gate launched really strong, and it's still going strong. It's getting new reviews every day, and it's not really budging. It went down to 96 for a hot second and then bounced back up to a 97. Also, the
Eurogamer 4 out of 5. Let me tell you.
what?
The Eurogamer 4. They also gave...
It's a European game.
They gave Tears of the Kingdom a 4 out of 5. Remember, that was like their first scored review.
I want to know...
Kingdom, and it was a 4 out of 5.
Do they ever give games 5 out of 5? Or is 4 out of 5 their ceiling?
I don't trust these corpo review sites.
But anyways, the point is, Baldur's Gate 3 is still going strong. And honestly, you know, to our benefit, because we're going to talk a lot about that game tonight because we're all balls deep in it and really enjoying it. But Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew, which is on Chris Davis's list, came out yesterday or today.
Came out yesterday? That shit's out?
No, it came out today.
Yeah. Came out today. Sorry, today. Yeah. And it's sitting at an 85, so that's 15 points for Chris Davis. It's pretty
86
good.
86 now.
86. Okay, 86.
I mean, look, I'm happy for you, Chris Davis. I am. But like Baldur's Gate got a 97.
Look,
so
I'm not even talking about Fantasy Critic. I'm happy for Mimimi.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is not a surprising. I mean, they make good games, and this one looked good, and I'm not surprised. This is not a
Yeah,
surprising score.
I am very eager to play that game and talk about it on the show because it
Yeah,
does look very
it
cool,
looks
and I
good.
loved Desperados 3. So we'll talk about that in a future show. Blasphemous 2, which doesn't come out until the 24th, is getting reviews, and it's sitting at 84, which is on Carlos's list.
Whoa.
Also, pretty much where we expected that to. These games are where I expected them to lie.
I heard that
I
first
don't
one's not so good.
We're going to talk about Blasphemous
Who
tonight.
did you
Brad,
hear that from?
Brad's been playing some Blasphemous 1, so we're going to finally get his in-depth opinions on that tonight. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, Blasphemous 2, Shadow Gambit, I don't think either one of those were in I think we all kind of knew what to expect with those. I think they were both great
pickups.
Good pickups. We do have a new bid tonight for Risk of Rain Returns.
Ooh. Oh, I think that is being called a remake, right?
Wait. Didn't we have a bid last week too?
Yes, I'm getting there. Crispy.
Oh, real quick on Risk of Rain 2. So that is officially being considered. Risk of Rain 1 Returns. It's a remake of the first one. It is. We didn't know if that was going to be considered a remake, and it looks like it is officially, and that should score pretty solidly, I imagine.
Yeah.
Risk of Rain 2 is sick.
I don't know if someone says Risk of Rain, when somebody says Risk of Rain, I still don't know what to picture in my head. And every time I look up Risk of Rain, like I Google image it, I'm like, that is not what I was picturing.
Why do you Google image things? Fucking Nick.
What
all
are
the
you
things
talking?
You do?
As opposed to what?
Fucking, I don't know. Moving pictures, Nick?
You
who looks up screenshots?
I do it because
moving pictures.
When we're recording a podcast, Brad, I don't look up moving pictures with audio. I Google image it.
Phone?
I can do it silently. The point is, I still have not defined what Risk of Rain is in my head, but whatever. So that's the only bid we have tonight. I am not really sure. I think that might be Crispy, or maybe it's Nolan. Nolan has to pick up some games because he had some delays on his list. Oh, it could be Carlos.
It's probably like yeah, it's probably Crispy. I know he was probably DM'd about this or something.
Yeah, probably.
Well, he's just admitting it now.
The next 2 weeks are just fucking insane.
But speaking of bids and reasons,
every other 2 weeks,
Crispy's a chotch. Crispy fucking. I'm gonna be honest. I bid on Lies of P last week, thinking that nobody else wanted it, and I gotta stop doing that. I've gotta stop assuming that nobody else is interested in this shit.
I don't give a shit about Lies of P.
Well,
fucking scooped.
Trade it back to him for something.
It's not going to score amazingly, Nick. I don't understand why. Like, if you're just looking for like pickups just to fill up your list, that's probably not going to score horribly. Sure, it's fine, but it's not like you lost out on a bunch of points from that one.
I mean, I'm not as upset about this as I was about Cocoon, for instance. I really thought I had Cocoon.
Sure, but
so,
again, those are like
shut the fuck up, Crispy. Over here laughing his ass
off.
Whoa!
It's not like someone stole a Nick game. Like when he scooped Ryza 3 over me, that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He probably hadn't even seen a Google screenshot.
I don't know what that looks like.
Speaking
13 points
of Crispy scooping, have you looked at the league history to see how much he spent on this game?
On Lies of P?
On Lies of P.
No, I haven't looked at the history. How much?
Okay, Nick, you bid $5. Crispy bet $30.
What the fuck? Crispy,
I only have one space left.
Yeah. What happens if something on your list gets dropped or whatever?
Yeah, then I guess I'll die.
I mean, he still has money left. You only need $1. You only need $1.
When Gamescom comes around and we hear more about Space Marine 2 and it launches this year and scores way better than anybody thinks it's going to, then who will be the idiot?
Yeah, I mean, all you need is $1.
Touché,
all you need is $1. I got 19 points for $1, 15 points for $1.
I know. We all know you're the king of Fantasy Critic, Brad.
No, the king of dollar bids. The king of dollar bids, please. I'll be the king at the end of the year if I win. But right now, call me the king of dollar bids.
All right, you're the king of dollar bids, you bitch. All right, so that's where we're standing on Fantasy Critic. So we'll see how this shakes out. We're getting, it could be, Carlos hasn't made many moves, but he's got a lot of spaces. That's why my brain went.
Yeah, I mean, what is
Carlos? I guess
Nick, you have a real problem with Carlos.
Okay,
Because
tell me
you're
why
gonna have
I have a
multiple
problem.
games that are going to end up having to be dropped. Like Silent Hill, that's not coming this year.
Okay. Chris Davis, I don't need that kind of negativity.
Look, I'm just
Gamescom is
saying.
next week.
It doesn't.
Chris Davis, Gamescom is next week. Just let me live in this world where it's a possibility still until next week, and then you can say it all you want. I don't care.
I'm just saying.
Let
You
me
have
this
2
for a
open
week.
slots, and he has 4. Like he's going to start bidding on shit, and you're not going to know what to do.
It doesn't matter, Chris Davis. It is August. Games, many games will be coming out every week until the final day of the year. 181 games. I counted with my finger. 181 games scored over an 80 or above last year on Open Critic. 181 games.
I know.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I know. I know. I have a strategy. I have a list of stuff that I'm keeping an eye on. Don't worry about me, Chris Davis. I've got this.
There's one. I know y'all are gonna like completely like fussy, but early access to 1.0 next year, which is fine, especially because the Baldur's Gate thing, which was a 70 when I drafted it, but whatever. We all knew it wouldn't stay a 70. At least me and Crispy knew. But besides the point, what was I gonna say?
I don't
know. There's a big early access game going to 1.0 that I think is going to be like high 80s guaranteed. And it's supposed to come out this year. So if you're really looking for good points, you all need to be paying attention to that stuff.
Dude, I'm paying attention, but I think we also pay attention to different things. I have a list of stuff.
No shit. Look at her. I'm sorry, Cole.
This motherfucker. Okay, we need to move on. It's getting spicy. All right, let's move away from Fantasy Critic for a hot second. Let's talk about the week in video game headlines, of which there's not much. This is kind of where I want to talk about Gamescom in a second, but I do want to start by just highlighting that it is official. Starfield has gone gold. In a post,
that's Fantasy Critic worthy.
It is, but it has gone gold in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world, which you know, I hate saying that because it's becoming such a fucking, you know, recycled meme at this point. But like, it is one of those things where it's, you know,
by me,
you know,
yes,
it's 2 of the biggest RPGs of the year, launching within like a month of each other, and
it used to
Starfield,
be Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, it did. Thanks for reminding me. I mean, it's been quite a year for loosely defined RPGs, if you know what I mean. But, you know, Starfield is maybe one of the more anticipated games of the year.
Of course.
Honestly, if you were before Baldur's Gate 3 kind of took over the world, because at this point it's kind of taking over the world. It's like it is dominating a lot of the video game discussions out there, just in general out there, right? Before Baldur's Gate 3 launch, I think everybody kind of assumed this was kind of the reaction people were going to have to Starfield.
People who are paying attention knew about Baldur's Gate, but
my question for y'all is, what? Because I think it'd be ridiculous to assume that the success of Baldur's Gate 3 is not going to have some impact on the reception of Starfield.
Hand raise. You know, my son's been raising his hand. He started school. At home, he's been raising his hand, which I kind of like. Anyways, here's a good point. So I was always worried. I'm about to make a good point to y'all. Take notes. Before Baldur's Gate 3, which is at a 97 on OpenCritic and Metacritic, I would have said that Starfield is going to get slammed for bugs, any amount of bugs. I don't think the gamer community can get away with taking huge shits. The gamer community, I don't think players and I don't think critics can get away with truly slamming Starfield for bugs in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world. If we're going to take away anything from Baldur's Gate 3, it's that a game can still be incredible and score like one of the greatest games of all time, even with like insane bugs, which it does have. This is why I was worried that it might score around or a little bit lower than Divinity Original Sin 2 because all of their games launch with lots of bugs. And this one is no exception. And people are getting further into the game now and they're like, what the fuck? But you know what? Critics probably wrote that review after Act 1, so I still win. Go ahead, Crispy.
My rebuttal to that was actually going to be that, like, it seems like the majority of the bugs are later in the game outside of Act 1, and a lot of people are spending a lot of time in Act 1 and finding it to be a pretty smooth experience, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
like if Starfield is like front loaded with bugs, if it's just like buggy out of the gate, might be a different story.
But see, people know about Baldur's Gate's bugs now. They know about Baldur's Gate's bugs, and reviews are still coming out, and they're still 10s. Because I mean the game is really good. I'm saying it's definitely, I think, going to dull the impact of Starfield bugs.
I do also tend to agree with Prince of the Universe in that the gamer community will get away with whatever the fuck they want. Like,
I'm saying it's going to help. It's going to help their case because, at some point, you have to be like, well, what the fuck?
So Brucey the Wizard in chat does ask,
and you know what Baldur's Gate's good at? It's having a very interactive, simulated type world, right? You can interact with a lot of pieces of that world in a lot of ways. And that's famously what Bethesda Game Studios has done with the worlds they make. And that's why they're also very fucking buggy. And it's why we also used to kind of forgive those bugs, just like we're doing with Larian games. And we're probably if Starfield is truly a really good game, then we're gonna let the bugs slide again.
Just kind of a really quick anecdote. I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 last night, and I was engaged in a pretty challenging fight. And I noticed that my character rotation was only cycling through 3 characters, and I was like, "What the fuck? Where is Astarion?" And I looked back, and Astarion was just crouched in a corner, and he had he was no longer in my rotation. He hadn't been
seen, so he didn't roll initiative.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly you can have characters outside of battle and inside.
So that's not
he can still get a sneak attack, I believe, when he does that.
Yeah, that's actually a really tactically advantageous position to be in because you can just have him set up and sneak attack whenever.
Wow. Okay, I couldn't get him. I thought okay.
That's not a bug.
If you walk into that area, though.
I do want to say, just as a really quick aside to that story, I got instantly terrified of wasting an hour or more of my life in this fight without Astarion there. But I was like, I'm gonna push forward because I don't want to reload. I'm trying not to reload, and I won that whole fight with 3 people. But I only won that fight. Because I positioned my characters in the rafters, and the main dude, approached me while I was in the rafters, and I tried to do the shove. I did a shove, right? And I rolled an athletics check and succeeded, and I pushed him out of the rafters, and he fell into a tiny little hole that I didn't even know was there.
Oh, I think I know where you are.
Okay. Died in a chasm.
This is the Hobgoblin fight? You did the Hobgoblin fight with 3 people?
He was destroying my party, and he was he was
buffing, wild. You're wild, man, Nick.
He was buffing everybody, and then he ran right up to Lae'zel and attacked and almost killed her. And then the first thing I did was I tried the push out of desperation, flew right into the chasm and died.
Are we talking about Baldur's Gate right now?
No. Wow. Sorry. I'm gonna roll it back for a second. Get him back to Starfield.
We're always talking about Baldur's Gate now.
I got stories to tell, Nick. Damn it.
No. We'll get there. Brucey the Wizard asked an important question. I do want to pose to you guys. Do we trust? The answer is probably no. But because the studio heads have been very forward in saying Starfield is going to be the least buggy Bethesda Game Studios release ever.
No.
What do we make of that?
I don't even think they. I don't think any studio has enough control or authority to say that about their release. It just seems like bugs are curses that happen, and nobody knows how they happen, and the programmers are all "What happened here?"
Come on, man. We're living in a post Psych Odyssey world, Crispy. They have these devs do have like huge giant lists of like bugs, like
No, I
shippable
know.
bugs, like non-shippable
Prioritized
bugs,
lists, yeah.
like they spend like the last months just like kind of
Look,
clearing out those lists. And what it might be is that they might be comparing like the number of bugs they have on that list for Starfield versus like their previous games, and maybe that's how they came up with that number.
Yeah, I'm just saying that is still like they want it to be the least buggy game they've ever launched, but there's no way they could fucking know that. Like you're just not like there's so many things that you're just not gonna know until it's like out in players' hands. Like
here's what I'll suggest. Here's
it's
what I'll
marketing
suggest.
speak.
I think that if you take it just as the literal statement, it's probably accurate when you consider that they're now owned by Microsoft and they have a lot more QA resources available.
That might have an impact. That's true. Also, I don't think we can understate this enough. Starfield is a very, very, very important release for Microsoft specifically.
God, yeah. This is my argument I made before.
Everything is riding on this game
they
because
cannot afford to have a poor release, especially after what happened with Redfall.
With Redfall, Halo Infinite failed to take over the world. Like they're just in a bad place. They need a win, and it's terrifying to have a game like Starfield kind of carrying that on its shoulders while also coming right off the heels of what is now turning out to be one of the most successful RPGs ever released, just in terms of critical reception and just player response. And it's insane. Like the pressure could not be higher. If Baldur's Gate didn't come out this month, well, honestly, I think it's interesting that Brad, the way you kind of posed this was as like, is this Baldur's Gate might actually be doing Starfield a favor by lessening the blow on the bugs. I didn't think of it that way.
That narrative is changing.
I thought it was going to do kind of, I mean, but like at the same time, it's also setting us, it's like raising the bar on like everything else, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But like, Starfield is also like a shooter, a space game, it's just
almost not, it's not really fair to
even, it's a very different
apples
kind
and
of
oranges.
Game. And there are people out there like sad motherfuckers looking at Baldur's Gate and going, man, I want to share in the joy, but I do not play games with elves and shit. Like, like the Carloses of the world and Chris Davis. I'm surprised he played this shit, but you know what I mean? Like, is Joseph playing this? No, he's probably playing like Modern Warfare or something.
I bet Joseph.
I'm sorry, Battlefield or some shit, right?
I like to think Joseph's ears just perked up somewhere, and he's like, "What is Brad saying now?"
No, maybe he can get down with Baldur's Gate, I bet, or he tried. But everyone's getting down with it. But some of those people are like, I don't know.
I think there's
Remnant
probably
from
more
the Ashes
people.
was pretty cool.
I think there's more people.
Remnant too.
I think in the era that we live in, that we exist in right now with video games, I think there are probably more people opposed to playing games that are isometric turn-based games than there are to people playing games with elves and shit, as you put it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's probably just a lot of people who are immediately turned off to the idea of not having complete control of your character at all times.
No.
Especially maybe I hate to say it like this, but like in the Xbox ecosystem, right, where like shooters are kind of like king of the world. Maybe I mean, maybe I'm stretched. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean, even if it is racist towards Xboxians, no.
We call them Xbox,
it's fantasy,
okay?
Right? Like Starfield. If Starfield isn't quite as successful as like an Elder Scrolls game, which it won't be, it's because it's not fantasy, right? Like if an Elder Scrolls game was coming out in a couple of weeks,
but you just said
people would have not even bought like Baldur's Gate.
You just said that this might be at a disadvantage because it's not. Wait,
no.
So wait.
I'm saying
following the thread.
There is a certain part of like there's a different audience for Starfield, even though they're both big RPGs. There's a lot of crossover, but there's also a huge portion of people who don't want to play Baldur's Gate that do want to play a Starfield because it's like a fucking shooter that doesn't have elves. And Baldur's Gate, I think Baldur's Gate is as huge as it is because it is a fantasy game, a fantasy RPG, and fantasy RPGs do numbers, way bigger numbers than sci-fi RPGs or space RPGs.
Especially with the cachet of being a Dungeons and Dragons game in an age when Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPG are like all-time high popularity.
Yeah, like
Right.
Critical Role
This
and shit.
like everybody fucking
Stranger Things
hated.
made that shit mainstream, believe it or not.
Everybody
You know what I
fucking
mean?
hated Wizards of the Coast at the beginning of this year and was like fucking done with Dungeons and Dragons, and now all of those people are playing Baldur's Gate 3. Like,
Yeah.
this game made
It's
people
wild.
forget a lot.
So just real talk for a hot second. We don't need to get into the weeds here, but like best guesses. What realistic guesses? Let's talk Fantasy Critic for a second. What do we think now Starfield can realistically achieve?
What kind of question is that? We've been talking about that all year long, Nick.
But we didn't
Like,
we didn't live in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world, man. Now we have
I
feel
when I
like
say it's going to help,
the goalpost
it's mostly
moved.
just going to help the narrative. I think it also will bump up those scores a little bit based on bugs that would have been really slammed for bugs. But
my
I mean,
instinct was that this was going to drive the scores down.
It still largely depends on the quality of the game, which we just don't know.
I don't know. You're right. We don't know. And strangely enough, because this came up on Kind of Funny earlier this week. They were talking about it, and I didn't even think about this really because it didn't occur to you much. But nobody has played Starfield, and the game has gone gold, and it's releasing in what is it, 2.5, 3 weeks?
I mean, press have review codes right now, and the review embargo is.
But there hasn't like anybody played Red Dead or whatever before that came out. I mean,
the August 31st embargo is maybe promising to me because I feel like if they were really worried about it, it would have been like release day or something. So that's helpful. But there hasn't really been much preview coverage outside of like the bubble that Microsoft and Bethesda have created, right? It's all been those like carefully controlled presentations and stuff, and there hasn't been any preview events or any cover stories or anything of those.
It doesn't need all that. It doesn't need all that. Look, this is going to be. I'll answer your question. It's going to be a very large range, more so than pretty much any game that came out this year, I think. And the range is anywhere from a 75 to a 95.
It's going to be interesting. I'm very, very eager. Thank you for entertaining the notion. I just wanted to bring that up because I do think, it's weird. Starfield is one of those games where when you see something that says like Starfield has gone gold, it has maybe more of an impact than most other games that say something like that because it's just like, I can't believe we've arrived. We've hit the moment.
Especially, I've got $1. If any of my games drop, if more than one of my games drop, I only have $1 left.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I need all my games to ship, or I need at least.
Well, I honestly don't think we were.
Ship.
I don't think we were ever in danger at this point of Starfield slipping out of the year.
Oh, that's not fucking true at all, man. Like we're at the time of the year where shit is going to start slipping, and big games like that slip, man. They slip. They end up in February, and then they end. I know,
but it's already slipped once. That's the only reason I'm saying I don't think it was likely.
I mean, yeah,
sure, but I'm just saying Microsoft seems pretty confident. Bethesda seems pretty confident. It's gone gold. The embargo is about 6 days prior to its actual release, which is promising, I suppose.
When is the release?
September 6th, I think.
Yes.
There's also an early access period too, which is like a week. Like if you pay for like the deluxe edition or something, you get early access.
Armored Core's coming out soon, dude.
Armored Core is the 26th.
Remember, I made a private deal with Crispy. I mean, he didn't like give me any sort of like counter offer, but I think he didn't agree to it. But it was just me giving him shit. I offered to give him a crisp $20 bill if Armored Core scores over a 90, and if
I thought it was if it hits 90.
Also, part of this deal
we'll should look at the text, but I think you pinned it. And then I said, if it scores 95 or higher, I'll give him Baldur's Gate 3, which means he would probably win Fantasy Critic. But if Armored Core goes over 95, I'll give each one of y'all a game from my list. Y'all can pick.
Yeah, that's a fair deal. I agree to that.
I'll take that.
But also, Brad, part of this deal is if you end up having to give Crispy a crisp $20 bill, it can't be one of these cheap like, oh, I'm going to put it in the mail for you tomorrow. You have to get in your car and drive to Crispy's home
to South Austin,
knock on his door, and
Lane.
hand it to him.
I'm gonna Venmo him, okay?
Venmo. That's not a crisp $20 bill.
That's bullshit.
The pinned message does not say anything about a crisp $20 bill.
You just said it.
Adding flavor, okay.
We record these, right? This is all on recording. All right, moving on. All right, next thing I want to talk about, because it's not been a huge week for headlines, really. There's been a few small things, but like I said earlier in the show, I want to talk a little bit about Gamescom, because it's next week. It's on the 21st, or it starts on the 21st. Opening night live is on the 21st, right? And that's kind of the big thing that kicks off. Anybody living outside of Europe, that's really kind of like where you focus your attention, because it's like the E3 press conferences, and then after that, it's people who are actually in attendance going to the show floor and all that stuff, right? But Opening Night Live has historically been kind of like a mini E3, right? It's sometimes mid, but also correct me if I'm wrong, didn't The Last of Us Part 2 get like its first like official trailer at Opening Night Live, or am I misremembering that? I don't remember. There's been, historically speaking, some big stuff. And I'm also not sitting here trying to imply that Opening Night Live this year is going to be some bananas thing. In fact, I think there's going to be very little to talk about in terms of like new announcements, new projects, right? But they have kind of framed it this year as...
He said existing projects, like...
we're going to get big updates on existing projects.
Big games. Big projects. Or some shit, yeah.
There's already been several
Dragon
things
Age? Is this Dragon the time for Dragon Age to peek its head and go, hey guys, if you like Baldur's Gate, we still exist. We're the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate.
A world of Thetis.
So, I mean...
Hey, you shut up.
Man, Baldur's Gate just having it out for everybody. I didn't really think about Dragon Age, but that's possible.
That little 5-second snippet of that leaked from Dragon Age 4. Y'all remember it? Like the shield bash? The little, not even 5 seconds. I think it was like 4 seconds. But
it was
actual
very small.
Leaked footage. Man, that's rough to look at in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world.
So, okay, let's be fair. I'm going to end up having to call this episode the post Baldur's Gate 3 episode, because we've said it so many times. But like, we can't... I know we're all kind of like really... We're all filleting Baldur's Gate 3 right now, right? Obviously.
Sort of. I mean,
but we're eventually going to have to get to a point where we stop comparing everything that comes out to Baldur's Gate 3.
No, Nick. I mean, look, jokes aside, like Larian is out of their fucking minds. Nobody makes games like this, and no one's gonna make games like this.
Right. Like, BioWare makes Dragon Age, and people like Dragon Age. Like,
Dragon Age is nothing like a Larian game.
Right. It's not. So like, maybe we should stop saying they're fucked because they're coming out in a post.
No, we're just memeing, saying, "Hey, a good video game came out, so other games better be good like this one." I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
But would now be a good time to see I could be on even if we don't see Dragon Age here, I could see it coming up at the Game Award. I feel like we'll see Dragon Age before the end of the year.
Dragon Age is like an ancient series. You know what game I thought about playing because I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3? I'm like, I should really go back. No, I'm telling you, that's ancient shit. It's got me thinking, man, I should go back to Pillars of Eternity 2. Like play actual, like Baldur's Gate 3 is an actual CRPG. Dragon Age Origins was like, I say maybe the first one was like a hybrid, but then they just became like modern BioWare games, right? Like I don't want to play. I don't want to play a modern BioWare game. I want to play more CRPGs.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though. You like Dragon Age.
Of course, I love Dragon Age. It was my game of the year that year.
Okay,
what's your point?
So you liked Dragon Age Inquisition?
Yeah, you know.
So are you saying you just don't want to see Dragon Age 4 now because Baldur's Gate 3 exists? It's just weird. It's just
one. Of course, I still want to see it. Two, like modern. I mean, modern BioWare is not.
It's not the BioWare we knew.
I mean, I'm hopeful, but I'm like certainly not confident. Like they've literally not made the game that I.
I
BioWare has not made a game I truly loved since Dragon Age Origins and the first Mass Effect.
Okay, I didn't mean to focus entirely on Dragon Age, but but you mentioned it, and I do think that is something that could show its head out.
Yeah, I'm saying like now's not the time. I'm saying if they were going to be at this Keighley thing, maybe you wait for like the Game Awards, right?
So
right.
in the
That might be
last
the case.
in the last fiscal report for EA, Dragon Age Dreadwolf was
Yes, that's the
scheduled
title.
for FY 2025. So beginning April 1st, 2024 is when the window would open for that. Realistically, we could probably expect a new teaser trailer before the end of the year.
No, they can't be a fucking teaser trailer. They've shown 2 teaser trailers already over the years.
I think Dragon Age Dreadwolf could be like a first like good look at gameplay, could be like a closer at the Game Awards this year or something.
Maybe, unless it sucks.
But like it's still
so weird that this game is a direct like story continuation from Inquisition. That is insane to me.
I should probably play Inquisition at some
point. It's been too long.
It's been so long.
They let it sit for so long.
It's all about Solus.
I don't fucking remember what Inquisition is about.
I mean, as someone who has never played a Dragon Age game, like I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
But you play games with elves in them now, Chris Davis. You're one of us.
One of us.
Well, let's not go that far.
Well, see, the thing you need to understand, Chris Davis, is that the world of Dragon Age is called Thedas, Thedas, which is actually a clever little wordplay because it is the THEDAS Dragon Age setting. That's why the world is called Thedas.
That's not bad.
You're fucking shitting.
All the cool D&D lore comes from like academia. Or
that's why. No, I'm not saying that is how everything is named in D&D, but it's funny. Like I just think that's that's my favorite tidbit. Yeah, that is true.
Okay, like I think it started as like setting. You're just
as like one of the designers like D&D campaign setting, like, and that's just what they called it. I don't know. It's fun. Anyway,
we have spent way too much time on Dragon Age. Let's go.
Are we going to see Space Marine 2?
Oh shit! That's the one I hope comes out, but doesn't like do amazing.
I think it's going to do great, and I think Chris Davis is going to regret.
All right, we're not here to talk about fantasy.
Nolan's
going to regret counterpicking it.
I want it to come out and get like an 80.
I want it to come out and get a 95.
You know, in the world
Baldur's Gate raised the ceiling, so now like other games can come in and be like 93s and 94s.
How that works.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It pulled everything up.
Oh man. So you know, here's that's Saber Interactive, right? Where are they at?
Yeah.
I'm tending to like think that a lot of stuff we're going to see at Gamescom is going to be, you know, being developed in Europe. I don't think we're going to see a ton of Western stuff there. I mean that could be
Europe is in the West.
I guess you're right. I guess that's true. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, right?
Except for
there's a lot of projects. There's a lot of projects that are being developed in Europe that we haven't had updates on in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are prime candidates. And I'm asking, where is Saber Interactive based?
Space Marine. Know? Well, I don't know, but Space Marine is
huge in Europe. I mean,
and that is huge in Europe.
Okay,
like this is probably where they would.
Yeah,
I mean, considering they are still saying 2023,
it's not going to push. It's not going to get fucking pushed, Brad. It's coming out this year. They said it's coming out this year.
Okay, so another project they have confirmed, I think this was since last week, they have confirmed that Stalker 2 is going to have a playable demo at the Xbox booth.
Shut the fuck up.
Which means almost certainly that game is going to have a re-reveal at opening night live. And there are rumors of a leaked release date tied to that to Gamescom. That saying December, what is it? Chris Davis, help me. December 7th. There's a specific date. December 7th. Which, you know, Stalker's on my list. I think this would be an absolute fucking miracle if that game launched this year. I'm hoping for a miracle. But you know what? What else is coming out in December?
I don't think Stalker coming out is not even like necessarily a positive thing for your list.
I know.
You should be looking for Dave the Divers.
Brad, I don't care. I'm gonna lose. I've accepted this. At this point, I'm just excited for Stalker. If it comes out and it's an 80, I'm just excited for Stalker 2. As a person who plays and enjoys video games, I am very much excited for Stalker 2.
There is plenty of room for games to be pushed into December. and for things that we don't know about to get announced and released.
Yes, I'm not worried about that.
Things to be pushed into February.
But I'm sorry, I've just been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a long time. I fully expected Stalker 2 to be. I was just waiting for the confirmation that it was going to be pushed, and to suddenly see a strong rumor that it's not only is it playable at. That's not a rumor. That's confirmed. Not only is it playable at Gamescom, it makes sense that you would get a re-reveal and a release date for it. And the rumors say December 7th. That blows my mind.
But we'll find out. Cynical here, because Lord knows
you're going
I'm
anyways.
Pro corpo, but the thing is, like, they just want you to think the game's coming out because they want that pre-order money. All these games just want your fucking pre-order, okay?
What?
You know,
you wouldn't do that, would they?
I don't believe them for a second.
But here's the thing: a lot of the people. But a lot of the people.
Okay, but that's not.
Whoa! Well, let's make it political.
Okay, wait, back up. So, regardless, all that stuff aside, the people who are going to pre-order a game and shell out the money early, right? A lot of them are going to do it whether it's coming out in December 2023 or January or February 2024. That's not going to make much of a difference. So I don't think if there's rumors of a date, I don't think that's going to affect. I don't think it's going to affect pre-order numbers all that much.
Yeah, I don't think you're right. I think
maybe I'm wrong.
If there's like a cool fucking like demonstration of a game and at the end there's like a fucking statue or whatever the fuck or pre-order to play it 8 days early because our industry sucks, and the date is like in a couple months, that's when people pre-order. I mean, when there was footage of someone having sex with a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, people pre-ordered. When they see it and they see that it's coming out soon, they spend money.
I did it that day. Actually, I bought the full game in early access because of the bear, and then which was funny because I'm not even going for the bear.
I want a bear to fuck me, but I don't want to I don't want Hausen in my party.
Why? I don't even know who that is yet. Okay,
someone please.
We're moving on.
Druids, first of all, druids are not cool. Well,
moving on.
Not
what else?
Druids.
What else? Gamescom. What else? Come on. Do we think? Go ahead, Chris Davis.
How about I'll throw it out there.
Everybody shut up. Chris Davis, he's been trying to get it out for a while.
I do want to mention that there is a supporting rumor alongside Stalker that 4A Games is going to show off their next product.
Which is a Metro game. Let's be real. It's a Metro game.
Well, they've announced they're working on a Metro, but they've also announced they're working on a new IP. What that is, I mean, who knows? But
do you want to debut Metro right alongside Stalker? It seems kind of like maybe that's. I mean,
they're two very different tastes. Like at the end of the day,
I played Metro because I played Stalker because of. For me, I played Stalker after playing Metro, but Metro is kind of what got me interested in Stalker in the first place. So I don't know if that's entirely accurate. But that's just me. What else, Brad? You were about to throw something out.
What about the Dragon's Dogma 2? What?
I don't think that feels
we're done with that for this year.
Okay, rude. What the fuck?
We got a huge fucking reveal during not E3.
Do I have to find some Eastern European, sad game like y'all?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just
fucking lame-os.
It's nice to hope and wish, but it's not. Capcom's already shot their load with Dragon's Dogma 2 this year. They're done.
Let's not forget here. Let's not forget that Capcom has stated in an earnings call that they have a huge release that's expected to sell. I forgot what it was, some ridiculous number. By the end of, I think they said March 2023, and nobody knows what that title is yet. And there's a lot of people speculating that we might get a Monster Hunter World 2
It's Monster Hunter World 2. There's no way it's not.
If it's coming out before March, how have we not heard about it?
Pretty soon though. I would say it's sooner like a fucking Resident Evil game or something we don't know about. Because those should just get
Monster
announced
Hunter,
and then they come out.
Monster Hunter, if they announce no. If they announce Monster Hunter World 2 at the Game Awards and then release it in January or February, I feel like that fits.
That's a very short turnaround. I mean, they do releasing games early in the year.
I believe that was the turnaround for Monster Hunter World 1.
What? No,
I think Monster Hunter World 1, it was announced in summer at E3 and then didn't come out until the following spring.
No, I think it came out the following January, which is still a little bit longer, but it's not unheard of.
Was it that like
quick?
Was it
I
that
think.
quick?
I mean, I think so. Maybe
Monster Hunter World launched the January following.
Right. So it was like a 6.5 month turnaround.
Yeah.
So this would be shorter, even than that.
That would be exciting. My God.
I mean, I will not say no to a Monster Hunter World 2.
Yeah.
I've been known to play me some Monster Hunter.
We've been known to talk about Monster Hunter.
Indulge in a bit of monster hunting.
For more Monster Hunter
Can
World
we
on
get
this
some new
podcast.
weapons this gen, though, please, God.
Bring the Tonfas back.
Guys, okay. You know, I'm not even gonna pose that question. I don't want to hear y'all's negativity. All right.
What?
Is there anything else?
We were being really happy.
Yeah.
I know you love negativity, Brad. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you go ahead? Say what you're gonna say. Is it about Assassin's Creed? Nick?
No, it's about Silent Hill 2. This seems like this would be a good place to kind of like re-reveal it, right?
Wait, I'm
Gamescom?
sorry. Which one?
Silent Hill 2. It seems like like we could see that again at Gamescom. It seems like it's been heavily rumored for quite a while that game is really, really far along in development and we'll have it sooner rather than later. So I don't know. It seems like a better fit for Gamescom than
maybe.
than the Game Awards.
I just hope no matter how it shakes out, scores or whatever the fuck.
I don't care about scores right now. I'm just talking about
when
release.
It comes out. I just hope you like it. I don't even care if critics hate it. As long as you like it.
Brad, I love Silent Hill Downpour. I will love it. I have no shame. I will love that game.
Yeah, see, I'm not as worried about Downpour. How do you feel about Homecoming?
I mean, it's my least favorite, but I have played it like 3-4 times.
You've played Homecoming 3 or 4 times? I don't even believe you.
Yes, I have.
I don't believe you.
I have played every mainline Silent Hill game at least twice. I'm pretty sure I've played Homecoming 3 times, I think. I can't say. The point is, I have played that game more than once, and I enjoyed my time with it.
Did you see the recent the new trailers for Alone in the Dark?
No, actually, I have not.
Should watch them, man.
I should. There's probably a lot of things I need to catch up.
So that kind of ties into a news topic I wanted us to cover, actually, which was THQ Nordic had their big summer showcase.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about THQ Nordic. Aren't they like in? Isn't Embracer Group like?
Well, yeah, Embracer Group is like the owner, but like THQ Nordic is like still the ones in charge.
But is THQ Nordic even going to exist in a year?
Real quick. What did they announce there? They had some things.
Well, they had like 10 or 12 different games. They announced a new TMNT game, The Last Ronin.
That game we actually already knew about, but this was like the confirmation, right, that it's coming.
Yeah. They announced a new South Park game.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just a multiplayer. That South Park game, I'm pretty sure is just like a multiplayer.
It's a 3D co-op multiplayer.
Yeah, it looked like shit.
It's not like the sequel to the.
How are we already back to like South Park games being fucking awful?
It's
pretty much if it's not made by
Obsidian or
Obsidian,
Ubisoft.
it's probably not going to be very good.
They announced a remake of Gothic 1.
Which I thought we already knew about that.
That wasn't announced. We've known.
Okay. They announced a Titan Quest 2, which I didn't think
that we didn't know about.
Yeah, that the original Titan Quest came out in 2006, so like, wow.
Yeah, but also we live in a post Diablo 4 world, which means who gives a shit about action RPGs? We live in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world.
Brad. Stop it.
They showed off a new trailer for Trine 5, which is hey, that's
y'all gotta watch. Okay, first of all, that was also known. But second of all, there's a you gotta watch the trailer. They did so like the company's like Finnish or whatever, and they tried to do like a Nintendo-esque trailer of like a family on a couch kind of thing, having fun playing Trine. And like Trine, the history of Trailer Talk is the history of Trine trailers. If you think about it, like that was one of the first trailers I used to watch all the time on the stream. Like they used to make good trailers. Watch this fucking thing with the people sitting on the couch trying to do like American accents. It's like the most is so bizarre. It's like, why would this be how you show off your game? This is insane. Can I do my little mini Trine rant here? Did you know there's 5 Trine games? This is Trine 5. 5 Trine games. Have you ever played Trine? Are you familiar with Trine?
And I have only watched you play Trine, I'm pretty sure.
In Trine 1, you play as a wizard, like a rogue lady with a bow, and a knight with like a shield, right? Trine 1. We are on Trine 5 now, and it's still those 3 characters. The easiest thing to do for Trine 2 would be to like add a couple of new characters with another couple new abilities, because it's all about their abilities like interacting with each other. We're on Trine 5, and it's still those 3 characters. And I shit you not, I believe this is the first one where you can play as 4 players, and they show it off in this Nintendo-esque godforsaken awful trailer. And the 4th player hops in, and there's a second knight. They couldn't even make a 4th character. In the 5th Trine game with 4 playable characters, they couldn't figure out one more character. They've never played D&D or Final Fantasy Tactics or anything with a job class system because they couldn't think of anything beyond a wizard, a rogue, and a knight.
So we're counting you out for Trine 5. It's a hard pass.
I mean, they're fun games.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
But that's insane. Cool. That's actually insane. It's actually insane. Make a druid. Make a druid. You know, easy. Boom. 4th character. He can turn into a bear. He can turn into a bird.
Somebody get this man some money.
Yes.
It's got all the ideas.
Do a bard. I think a bard would be perfect for the world of Trine. But nope. 3 characters. Happening. 5 Trine games. Can you think of another indie series that is up to a 5th entry? Does that even exist?
Wait, a series up to a 5th entry?
In indie series.
Oh, an indie
that has
series.
A 5th entry.
That's not a visual novel or
there's gotta be something.
Yeah. Sure, like Five Nights at Freddy's or whatever. But they've been making the same fucking game. Okay, whatever. My Trine rant is over.
All right. Can we put the kibosh on the Gamescom talk now? Or Please. Is there anything else we want to get out?
You made us talk about it.
I mean, there were just 2 more things I wanted to mention.
Okay.
There was a new real-time tactics strategy game called The Last Train Home that actually looks kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I saw a trailer for that. That looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit like Mimimi's Shadow Tactics kind of formula, but like you're also like there's a meta game where you're guarding and traveling along the a railway on a train. So
yeah,
that sounds kind of.
You're trying to escape a war, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're in like the middle of a civil war trying to get home.
Yeah,
sounds kind of cool. And then I mean, I just want to confirm this, but a demo and new trailer for Tempest Rising came out.
I'm sorry?
Tempest Rising?
Yeah.
Tempest
what
Rising?
Is that?
It is like basically a full-on spiritual successor to Command & Conquer.
Oh, okay.
Chris Davis, you got massive future game show energy right now. Or
hey, look, I know you, Brad. You will never play an RTS and enjoy yourself. That is perfectly just
I like Brutal Legend. I liked Brutal Legend more than most, I think.
I'm talking traditional click and click.
That's true.
Right. I know. People love Command & Conquer. Well, at least we know you do, Chris Davis.
Yeah.
All right.
There were others, but those were the main things.
Appreciate the highlights there. So we'll talk about Gamescom next week and kind of the aftermath of that and see what's going on. I do feel pretty good about the fact there's probably going to be some shakeups. I'm actually kind of excited about the fact that it's going to be mostly focused on things that we already know about, giving us updates on things. Because my list and Fantasy Critic has made up there's a lot of stuff on there that I need updates on. So count me in. I'm excited.
Like Jusant coming?
Jusant is coming. Every day I get a notification when Don't Nod tweets, and they always tweet about Jusant, but it's never a fucking release date. But they always say fall. So like I feel good about Jusant. But like Jusant. things like Nine Souls, I'm really waiting for updates on and stuff like that. But
that's right.
Anyways, neither here nor there. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will revisit Baldur's Gate 3. We'll talk about Blasphemous, and Chris Davis has had some time with the Payday 3 closed beta. Yeah. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the last segment of 4Player podcast ever.
Potentially.
Let's
roll that beautiful bean footage.
Those aren't beans that we're about to see.
Oh my god, I'm so scared. Nick, all right, let's talk about
this. Is all Nick's fault. Nick was like, "I want to see your character's genitals."
You're right. I did say that. Part of me, for some reason, I feel like I should. I feel like after so many years, I should know Crispy. I should know better than this. But he probably, I'm assuming, took me at my word, and he's
don't dare me to whip it out.
Let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3, huh? It's kind of our obsession. We're all playing it here. We talked about it a lot last week, but let's dive a little bit deeper into that. How are things going? And we're going to try to avoid story spoilers of any kind. This is all going to be. We're going to try to avoid anecdotes when we can, unless it's something that's like systemic or
nothing beyond Act 1.
Well, this is technically Act 2.
What a weird looking penis you.
What are you talking about?
I'm kidding.
It's a wiener.
I'm not wiener shaming. Like. Oh, you stripped everybody down?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you.
I did this whole fight without armor. Nobody has armor. Well, I had mage armor on Gil, as you can see, but nobody had any armor on for this whole fight.
Wonderful. Okay,
and I fucking nailed it.
This game continues to blow my fucking mind. Which, you know, Brad, I woke up yesterday to a message from you in Discord. Very much like, Nick, you still with us there, buddy? You falling off? I take offense. This game's incredible.
Well, because you don't chat in our very active Baldur's Gate channel. You don't visit. You hang out in Discord, but you never visit us nerds. It's like that's one step too far for you.
You're not.
So we don't know. I don't know that you're playing the fucking game. I don't look at your Steam activity. You know, I
pop in from time to time.
More.
You're okay, fine.
I think it's more interesting you playing a game like this. I mean, for the first time versus like me or Crispy, right? You know, we've played, you know, plenty of nerd games and Larian games, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. This is not only my first Larian RPG. This is my first CRPG I've ever played in my life. I'm continuing.
Is this your character, Crispy?
Yeah.
I like how every time we get like a really good look at his dong, it's like hiding behind text and stuff. Like I can't really make out the specifics of his dong because it's behind all the dialogue choices.
She's gonna give me a blessing here in a second, and it's gonna cause everything to glow. So you'll get a good look at it.
Okay, wonderful. I can't wait. Jaeger's in chat asking if I played Original Sin 2. I did not. I bought Original Sin 2. It's in my library waiting for me to one day play it. And you know what? Now in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world, is much higher likelihood to be playing that game.
What are you more likely to play, Nick? Divinity Original Sin 2 or Wolong Fallen Dynasty?
Divinity Original Sin 2 at this point, probably. I think the ship on Wolong has sailed, but we're not here to talk about Oh my god.
You keep saying that. What does that mean?
Oh my god. Sorry, okay. Oh, there's so much dong on this footage. We're so
much right now, Chris. Like sex scenes. I watched Eris do the sex scene with Minthara, and holy shit! Like
I had not.
Holy shit! It was graphic. It was graphic.
Full on penetration.
It was not
like penetration graphic.
Okay. No, it wasn't like graphic. Like, oh, you see the wiener going into the vagina. You know, it wasn't like that.
Or butt.
It wasn't like
or
that.
Butt.
It was a little dwarf like sitting on a fucking like bookshelf or like a I don't know, like a dresser, and holding like fucking Minthara's head, and she was giving him a blowjob. I was like, this is insane.
What? They have blowjobs in this game?
We're adults.
Like
we're
holding
adults. Everybody...
her fucking elf ears blowjob while he's butt ass naked sitting on a fucking dresser. Like, Jesus. And like everyone's jaws were on the floor. Everyone was like, dude, what the fuck?
Wait, there were people in the room while this was happening?
Insane.
Like other characters?
He's a streamer. He was streaming the game.
Oh, okay. No. Gotcha. Okay. I'm following you now. I follow you now. Okay.
It was so fucking like it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah,
and there's like all these like sexual positions, and you see them changing sex positions. It's like,
I mean, I've only had one romantic encounter so far.
That awkward period where you're getting into the new position.
Yeah, I've only had one romantic.
Oh, you're talking about in the game.
Yeah, fuck you.
Oh, I hate you. Just go.
Sorry, I'm very distracted right now.
By what?
Nothing. We can't just talk about. We can't just come back to this.
You're all looking at the penis, aren't you?
Just stop watching the fucking footage and talk about the game.
It's amazing. Like, I am now level 7.
I am so
Dude,
hopelessly
level ups
addicted.
in this game.
Actually, I hit level 7
Why
after this fight.
Dungeons?
No. It like what you're talking about.
Why do you think
it's a like what you're talking about is moving between what they call the tiers of play. So like the first tier is the first like 4 or 5 levels, and then at level 5 everybody gets a big old power spike, and you kind of move into the second tier. Of play.
But even the smaller ones feel significant. Like it's just a D&D thing. Like it's so stretched out. It's still like next weekend when y'all come back. You feel more powerful.
Because when you're playing D&D, when you're playing D&D, you level up. Like, I mean, traditionally, like, I mean,
it's
on average, I've played campaigns, that have lasted for like 2 years, and in that time, we made it like to maybe 12th level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a while to earn a level.
Yeah.
Especially in older editions. But that's kind of what I was talking. I was just kind of rambling in the Baldur's Gate channel last night. There actually used to be more like 5th edition's the only system that's like really kind of loosey-goosey with its XP. Previous editions had like very like strict formulas about how you earned XP and like how you leveled up. And in like the earliest editions, like back in 1st edition and like 2nd and 2E Advanced and all that, like you would get XP for like every piece of gold that you looted, for like every piece of treasure you found. So like that's where you got the whole like murder hobo thing, because the best way to level up really quickly was to just kill somebody and take all their shit, or like break into someone's house and like rob them, like
right.
Like so it's a very like leveling is a weird thing in D&D, and it's so weird in 5th edition that they've decided that like most people do milestone, where it's just like the DM just kind of tells you when you hit the next level. So like having to put it into like a rigid system like this, I'm sure was not easy.
It feels like a lot, because it's not just one character leveling up, it's more or less your whole party leveling up. And when individual character, it's a very significant jump. All of a sudden your party goes from like barely getting through a fight to like just curb stomping it or whatever. It's really crazy. But I mean, let's talk about this awesome video game.
Well, real quick, just because this is all new to me, really, and is it weird? This is more of just me trying to figure out if I'm doing this right? So, is it unusual? Like, I spend a lot of time, like when it's my turn on any one character, I spend a lot of time, like before I commit to a decision. Like sometimes I spend like 2 or 3 minutes just deciding what one character is going to do in a fight. So like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I spent 3 sessions so far. Like, I went into the goblin camp, and I went down underground into that area, right, or their like church or whatever. And I've been down there for like 3 solid play sessions, each being at least 2 hours, if not more. What? And it's because I'm spending so much time in combat, like before I commit to a maneuver. And maybe it's just because I'm uneasy about, I've never really played truly played D&D before, and I feel like there's so much
weird, though. Like
there's so much stakes here.
I mean,
you're recreating that
high in combat, though.
You're recreating
you probably have like
that
a million
table
potions and stuff.
I don't, though.
I mean, people. But see, I have people who die in combat like all the time. Like, who cares?
But I'm just trying not to like reload every 5 seconds. Like, I'm trying to avoid that. What's up, Crispy?
I'm saying you're like, I don't know, like the amount of like discourse that this game brings up that is just D&D talk like is insane. But like yeah, you're just recreating the table conditions. It's like the classic thing where like combat in D&D has a reputation for taking too long. And it's mostly because it's a table full of people who on their turn they're like, I don't know what to do. Like I'm just sitting there trying to think about what I'm going to do with this character the whole time. I just find that very funny. But once you kind of learn what every character is supposed to be like what their role is in the party and in combat in the encounter, like that stuff goes really quickly. Like if you've got a warlock in the party, they should be reapplying hex if they don't have hex up and casting Eldritch Blast. You know, like if it's a barbarian, they should be doing multi attack. Like
I mean, I am getting faster over time, but I'm just trying to, because there have been a few instances where I've made a bad choice and it's cost me the entire battle and then I end up reloading, and I'm trying to avoid that situation as much as I possibly can.
What is costing you the entire battle? Like I'm trying to think of like full party wipes in this game, and it doesn't happen that often to me.
Well, it's happened to me a couple times.
Are you reloading before things are truly over?
I am.
There has been one instance where I reloaded before the fight was truly over, but I felt things were so hopeless that which is maybe
to pick people back up.
Yeah, I mean,
also if you got somebody down and you cast, like you have a cleric and you do healing word on them, that brings them back up. Like you're aware.
Yeah.
Of that, right?
Yeah, you don't even
when it's my cleric except when it's my cleric that's down. Also, I was in a fight,
or you just like throw a potion on somebody who's down, brings them back.
Throw a potion.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I've learned all these little tricks, and I'm getting faster and whatnot. But I am still very kind of just
so much cheap stuff.
But like also,
you can drag something out of your inventory and hold it over like a cloud of blades or daggers or whatever, and it'll break the potion.
That's crazy.
It's so weird, like how free they are with the inventory and with actions in this game.
I know it's bizarre. It's bizarre. It feels like cheating.
There was one instance where, and I was actually pretty proud of myself. Somebody straight up did a push attack on my cleric, and just shoved her into a chasm, and she was gone, dead.
I love when that happens.
So
she's not
close.
Dead. You could still bring her back.
I know, but my first instinct was to like go. I was like reaching for F8 to like reload, and I was like, nope. I'm gonna try and do this, and I'm gonna bring her back the right way.
Dude, you know what the right way to bring her back is to go back to camp, talk to Withers, pay him to resurrect her, and then pickpocket Withers because he doesn't fucking care.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like resurrections, hirelings, and respecking are absolutely free because you can pickpocket Withers whenever, and he does not react.
It's an insignificant amount of money.
It's not. I did it the other day. Like he's holding all the gold I've given him the whole playthrough. I went and pickpocketed him the other day, and he had like 1,100 gold on him, and I was like, "Whoa, that could be a new suit of armor." Like,
I've not been respecking enough. I guess.
Yeah,
but
dude, it's wild. It's wild.
It is truly.
If you're using Asterion, another thing you should do is have him go to camp every day, have him bite somebody, and then he gets like +1 to like all his rolls. And you can even set up hirelings. You can have up to 3 hirelings that just hang out in camp.
Campcasters.
They are, and they're zombies that fucking Withers controls, and they're really creepy. But you can hire them, take all their gear, and sell it, because you're not going to take them into combat or anything. They all come with potions, they all come with resurrection scrolls, and you can just have them standing around to be, like Brad said, camp casters. Like, they can cast spells on you, so you're not wasting any of your party spell slots. And they can be blood bags for Asterion. He can just go bite one of them and get his fucking happy condition.
Damn, I'm learning all kinds of new little tricks.
Oh my god, there's so much you can do. You need to hit
so
up
much you can do.
You need to hit up some of those YouTube videos of like,
dude,
did you
it is wild. Like the way this game works.
Fucking mind.
Yeah, this game is insane. Like
my mind is already blown. Like,
can I say? I was trying to say it earlier. When I love pushing people around, right, into chasms, off cliffs, and everything. But
very
like,
potent.
it catches me off guard every time the enemy AI does it, and I love it. I love when it happens because it surprises me every time. I'm like, oh yeah, you can do that. I probably shouldn't have stood here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dude, there was an NPC that I had to like get his head, and I accidentally killed him by pushing him into lava and thought I was like absolutely fucked. I figured it out, but there's a lot of instances where like things get way too pushy and people are getting pushed around even when you don't like want them to. Like it
Right.
I don't know, man.
I also
have
really
had
enjoy
so many encounters in which the enemy just decides to just bum rush me and kick me off a cliff, and
Yeah.
oh, that fucks me over.
It's so potent. Like, yeah, it's so potent.
They always go after my fucking cleric, and that drives me insane.
Yeah, the AI on Tactician, they're smart. They will target spellcasters first. Like they're like they know to fucking geek the mage. Like it's
Gale
so
has taken up so much damage. He's gotten
have
hurt
you guys,
more than my player character.
Have you guys had Gale like fully die on you yet and have him do his little?
I leave him at camp.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I'm not rolling with Gale right now.
You shouldn't do. You should have a wizard in your party. Wizards are amazing, but if like Gale has his own little like subquest that unlocks if he just dies, that's actually really fun. I think it's really great.
Good to know.
Dude, I because of there's stuff going on with Gale.
There is stuff going on with Gale, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's technically the stuff going on with all characters, but
yeah. Oh my god, I ran into this is Act 1. It was a situation where
I just want to point out I just aced this really difficult fight with no armor. Completely naked run.
I'm playing a bard, and I really kind of like talked my way through situations, right? I talked about this last time, but I got into a situation out in the world in Act 1 where Lysel really wanted to like speak, and I was like, ugh, I don't know about that. You're no bard. So I was like, let me do the talking. It really pissed her off.
Yeah.
She was like,
was it at the creche or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do that.
And I felt
she'll
really
like leave your party if you fuck that up.
I talked about the situation. There was no fight or anything. I don't know if there was supposed to be or what, but I barded my way out of that situation, and she was not thrilled with me.
She even has a little thing where like once you get near the creche, she will like pull you aside and be like, hey, listen, like if we're not gonna go do this and figure out what the hell's going on with my people now, I am going to leave the party.
It's like the only thing I haven't done in Act 1 yet.
Okay.
You should, because it's really fucking cool. It's great. It's so good.
So let's just
This legendary mace I'm wielding right now. Wonder where I got that.
I know where you got that, and it's a really good mace.
It's sick. It's the whole thing. The whole quest to get it is so fun. Like it's pure D&D. It's like
let me rein this in for a second, because we do get, like I said before we started recording, I don't want this to dominate the entire segment, so I want to make sure we actually have time to talk about anything like mechanically or anything that we haven't already talked about previously. Is there anything? I know it's easy to kind of slip into like anecdotes and shit.
One thing I didn't bring up last week that I really wanted to mention is that one of like the true heroes of this game, one of the secret best parts of this game are the magic items, the loot. I love
secret.
How great the loot is in this game. And like you find so many magic items, magic amulets and rings and boots and gloves, and they all do like significant things. Like I can make a build around this ability, and I love that. I love that like loot and items that you find are significant. So much so that I'm stealing from like shopkeepers like crazy. By the way, my God, one of the best moments in the game, I'm not going to spoil it. It was such like a whoa moment for me. It was a small moment, but I was in the Myconoid colony down in the Underdark, talking to that hobgoblin, and he like calls someone over.
Yeah,
and just sort of like shows up. I was like, "What's about to happen here?" It was.
You realized you were racist, didn't you?
Yeah, whoops. I did. I feel like it's one of the themes of this game, probably.
There is so much like you could probably play this game as every single class, as every single race, and have a unique experience every single time.
Oh yeah, no, I think without a doubt, this is like one of the best examples of that in modern gaming, just in terms of like more so than any game I've ever played in my life. I feel like this game has the potential where I could start it multiple times and get a totally different experience each and every time I play it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff gets
like a fine wine because
it's gonna
keep
age
getting
really
patched
well.
and they're gonna iron out those bugs.
So good.
And
Every time
honestly,
there's
we
like
should probably be waiting, but
there's so many little like triggers for different like dialogue from specific companions that you have with you, and then if you have another specific companion, like they'll launch into a whole thing with each other. Like I brought Karlak with me to the Last Light Inn. Highly recommend that because
Karlak
she has
is
a
great.
lot of content that's just like random at the inn if you like bring her like I don't know. There's like
Noted.
a little tiefling girl like runs up to her and is like, "Oh my god, you're Karlak! Wow, man!" Like starts like freaking out on her and like has this whole like little fangirl moment. And it's like really cute. Like it's so like it's great. It's great.
Like, and then they're her every character's storyline in this has it's good content. There's
no. This is excellent writing. Like just fucking excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best. I mean, it's not like Disco Elysium, like, dialogue prose, whatever, but it's so fun and you have so many like interesting choices and it can go like so many different ways. I mean, that's writing too. It's
You're
not
right,
just
you're right.
No, scenario design and everything.
Yeah, scenario design is remarkable in this game.
This seems so foundational and basic, but like goddamn, I am obsessed with dice rolling. Anytime it comes up to roll dice, I'm just like, ooh, I love this part, even though I'm probably gonna get fucked. Like,
you should just play some fucking D&D, you guys.
Dude, what I was gonna say is that I feel, and this is obviously me talking as someone who hasn't played a lot of D&D, like actual D&D, but I feel like if you play this game a lot, say, I feel like if I play this game for 60 to 100 hours or whatever, I feel like I would be much more comfortable going into like an actual game of D&D, just because I would have like that kind of like foundational. I know, dude. But do you remember how?
Right, but he doesn't have any idea what he was doing.
I had no.
He doesn't remember what he was doing at all. Like, how to play.
You remember rolling for checks and stuff. Like,
you're right, but like I don't. You're right, but like this takes all of those foundational aspects of Dungeons and Dragons and presents them in it's a very visual way, like which is very helpful to me. Like I feel like I'm learning how these systems work, and I feel like you could take this and apply it to an actual game of D&D, as if, but going the opposite way. If I had played like as someone who has not played a lot of D&D, I was very, very confused a lot of the time.
I mean, they did this before. It wasn't with Baldur's Gate. Divinity Original Sin 2 had a mode where you could like DM a campaign in that game, and I'm wondering.
I remember us talking about that. Yeah,
this.
I think they've already said they're not.
They're not,
and I doubt they're going to, because
is that a
Hasbro
thing?
Hasbro's throwing a shit ton of money to make an online VTT for D&D.
And we talked about that.
That is like kind of like this.
Oh, like that's going to be launching with 6th edition, right?
Well, yeah, whatever. It's not 6th edition. It was called D&D Next. I don't even think they're calling it that anymore. They're just calling it the 2024 revision to the Player's Handbook.
Who's making it? What do
you mean? Oh, who's designing it?
Would they?
I don't know. I think it's No, I don't think they did. I think it's an internal thing. Yeah, I like having their own like dedicated VTT is something that they've been trying to do since 4th edition. But
so back when it has been was making their bad games.
Right. It has been. Well, they didn't ever get anything off the ground with 4th edition. That was just kind of like the original plan, and they scrapped it. But I don't know who's working on the current one. I'll look that up. But you guys keep going.
Well, we
It's
do. I do
still
think we need to move on here pretty quick. So, but go ahead.
on my stream, I've been streaming this game here and there. The last stream I watched, like, people are still shocked when they hear about the history of Larian and like the games they developed, because people know a lot about original Sin 1 and 2, but they don't know that they've been making RPGs since the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And so in some of those games, like, they tried to make their own Elder Scrolls game and it was really not that successful and it was super janky. And one of the games they made is called, like, what's it called, Dragon Commander, something Dragon Commander. And it's like a 4X, it's like a almost like a Total War game, except you can fly around dragons in your RTS battles. It's insane. But then they put all this production into, like, the characters, like, conversating on, like, your fucking airships and stuff, whatever the fuck. And it's like, this studio was out of their fucking minds even back then. They're just successful at it now.
They're the right kinds of crazy, and it finally has paid off. Like, it's just such a wild thing to watch, and this, it's gonna be even crazy. Like, when this game launches on on PlayStation and the Xbox version's not out yet, right? The console version in general is not out. It comes out early September.
They said that the Xbox version might not be coming out this year.
Yeah.
Oh, so
there's the parity issue, the parity clause for the Series S.
They just need to scrap. Like, they just need to ease up on that shit and just release it on Series X and not try and make it fucking, like, if it won't run on Series S, just make it not compatible with Series S. I know what they're trying to do and, like, why why it might seem like that policy is beneficial, but I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot by not having Baldur's Gate on their console. I feel like that's a huge mistake.
It's going to happen. It's just Larian is trying to figure out how to get it.
You're
Larian
right.
didn't even know. How could they have known?
But what I'm saying is, like, if they're having trouble getting it to run on Series S, but it's running fine on Series X, they're shooting themselves in the foot by holding it back. Just release it on Series X, and then release the Series S version next year. Like, this game is going to get another huge boost when it launches in September on PlayStation.
Yeah, they got Starfield
because they're not doing a PS4.
But, like, what if Starfield doesn't fucking land?
So,
oh my god, it's
it land. Get it?
The
Dungeons and Dragons virtual tabletop is being developed internally by Wizards of the Coast, and it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. So it has nothing to do with Larian. And I I don't know. Like, I feel like Larian was probably kind of excited about the idea of doing it, and then Wizards was like, no, we will not license that. No.
Like, this would be an even bigger deal. Like, it would be huge. It would have been huge.
Dude, it would have been insane. And it would have been eating fucking Hasbro's lunch, and that is good news. But yeah, they're being dicks, I guess.
All right, we need to move on. Oh, real quick, just to let you know, Brad, I have been playing mouse and keyboard since the last podcast.
Oh,
just for your information.
MK?
Why mine? I still play controller because
I know. I'm just saying
most of my time on my Steam Deck.
Right, but I played the first 10 or so hours on the controller, and I had a great time. But I'm going to be playing most, if not all, of this game just on my PC. So
yeah, of course, I mean, like UI, man. I'm like, it's so much is easier with the mouse and better with the mouse and keyboard for sure.
Yeah,
but it's still like a language you have to get used to, which I'm kind of really not comfortable with it yet because I have not set up my hotbars and stuff because it's completely different, right? Even when you just touch your mouse, it just changes everything completely. So when I stream it, I'm like, maybe I should just play with the controller. It's I don't know. I can't stress enough. Cool. If you have Steam Decks out there and you're not using something like Moonlight to stream from, and you have a gaming PC, man, you should be streaming the game to your Steam Deck. It works so well.
I might look into that because I do want to play some of this on Steam Deck. You should
definitely. Like, this is not the game to install directly to the Steam Deck and play for 45 minutes before the battery dies. It's going to run like shit. It's going to look like shit, and it's going to run out of battery. You need to run it from your PC.
And especially on a game with this kind of UI where the icons are so small for the screen real estate, like, it's no.
No, you don't play with a controller, do you?
No,
Chris Davis. No,
yeah, the UI is totally different.
That's the UI
controller.
changes completely.
Oh, that's right. Big picture
text.
mode. Yeah, that makes sense.
You can scale up text like crazy.
Oh, okay.
No, not big picture mode. In fact, big picture mode will ruin your life with this
Like
game. Turn all that shit
the
off.
hotbars go away on
hotbars go away. It has its own UI, radio menu, text you can adjust the size of. This is like a super playable game on Steam Deck.
Okay.
And it's gonna be great on console. It's good for that. You know.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on. Again, obviously, we'll be playing this game for a long time. We'll revisit it periodically on the show, so don't worry about that. But I do want to make sure we have some time to talk about a few other things before we get to the 4-player minute. I do want to hand it over to Chris Davis for a minute to talk about his time with the Payday 3 closed beta. Reminder to both you and Brad that Chris Davis, I see you smiling already. This is not a statement, right?
I'm not. No. I'm just glad to talk about this game.
Okay. So just reminder to you and Brad, because you both have games to talk about. We're like halfway through the second segment, so just keep that in mind as we're talking.
Well, you wanted to talk about Gamescom.
I did.
This is all next fall. So
I got a lot writing on that. Anyways, Payday 3. I didn't even realize there was a beta going on right now.
So there was a closed beta. This actually happened a couple weeks ago. And I meant to talk about it last week, but we were just way too big on Baldur's Gate 3.
It wasn't embargoed or anything, like talking about it?
No, this is everyone could watch it. It was fully open.
Oh, okay.
It was closed access, if that makes sense.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I've been very worried about this game for a very long time because the Overkill software that developed Payday 2 10 years ago.
Which is a game you played a lot of.
Over 500 hours.
That's okay.
Payday 2 got a lot of content, but it had a very turbulent post-launch development scene. Most of the senior leadership and game designers have left way before this game was even in the concept stage.
So this is not an entirely new Overkill, but it's like a lot of the talent that was there for 2 is not there anymore. Is what you're
pretty
saying.
much, yes. A lot of the senior talent went to form the 10 Chambers, which made GTFO. So that's where a lot of them went. And then after how horrendously their Walking Dead game went, so bad that Skybound pulled the game from sale, and you cannot buy it to this day. It's not available at all.
They basically canceled it after launching it.
Yes, it was that bad. I was really worried about what this game would be because it has a fucking lot to live up to with Payday 2.
So you're burying the lead. What's the word?
Pretty much every single worry that I had about this game has been quelled.
Okay.
This was an excellent demo of what to expect of Payday 3. It was just one map with just the 4 default characters, just a very starter experience. It's a starter bank, starter heist, just reintroduce you to what Payday is.
Yeah, and for those who are unaware of what Payday is, it is a cooperative bank heist shooter, right? Is that an accurate way to describe it?
First-person shooter.
First-person bank heist game.
You're robbing banks. I see you putting zip ties on people. You're tying them up.
Yes, it is.
All that stuff.
And it is dramatically a better experience than Payday 2 was in so many aspects. They have completely revamped so much AI, so many concepts for hostages alone were such a pain in the ass in Payday 2 because you only had a few zip ties so you could only get a few hostages, and their nav pathing was so terrible for following you. Like it wasn't even worth even trying to move them. Like you only use them as like collateral to annoy and distract the cops. Like in this, they now have mechanics behind them. There's multiple stages to a heist now. In the pre-first round assault of a loud encounter when you are taking hostages and the police are just responding, it's a negotiation phase now in which you can release hostages in set amounts to extend your lead time as you're doing your heist. So
there was nothing like that in 2 at all. It was just kind of like they were very one-dimensional.
The only
aspects.
mechanic that civilians were used for as hostages in the first game was if a player was arrested, then in between the rounds you could release a hostage to trade him back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was all you could do with civs. Otherwise, they were a liability across the entire thing. This time around, they actually are fucking useful. Like, not only can you trade them between rounds for additional time before the next wave hits, or to get resources delivered to you from the cops, you can also use them as body shields, basically, to protect yourself in the middle of a firefight. It's wrong, but it's something you could fucking do.
That's messed up. That's
yeah,
messed up,
it is.
Davis.
The combat feels so good in this. They have reconsidered how all these assault encounters work. Cops, like, they're no longer just like set health bars with individual different kind of links to how tough they are. It's all armor based now, so they all have 100% based health. You shoot them in the head, they're dead, but they all have armor. So like you got to kind of strategize on how you want to use your ammo in taking them down. You want to. I was playing very conservative in this because Payday 2 teaches you got to conserve ammo because you only have a little bit, and you want to get done with the heist as soon as you can because you're only going to pick up a little bit as you're running around the map.
Right.
In this, it feels so much better. It is so much smarter. There a lot of the base concepts from Payday 2 that were DLCs, like grenades, like overkill weapons, like special weapons. Those are built in as part of the core experience now. So you have grenades, you have special items, and like a lot of modern shooters today with like timed ultimates based on your progress, you could call in your ultimate weapon. In the case for the beta, it was a grenade launcher you could use.
When you call that in, where does that come from?
Like a helicopter flies over the map, and somewhere along the map, it drops a bag with your ultimate weapon that you pick up.
You're bank robbers and you can call in a helicopter?
Dude, Payday, you have to understand, Payday is an insane franchise. They do some absolutely incredulous shit. The final heist of Payday 2 is you breaking into the fucking White House to steal pardons for yourselves. So
yeah. I mean, like, in what world do you think cops are trading bank robbers for hostages, Nick?
That's true. That is true.
It is
fucking... I've seen the movies, Crispy. I know how this works.
There's a mission where you go raid Area 51. There's a mission where you go steal fucking nuclear weapons from a train that derailed in the mountains. Like, they go insane in Payday 2. And this feels more grounded with the scope of this demo.
Right. Well, I mean, they were going for the very basic, like, we're doing a bank heist, but obviously they're going to have much bigger, more outlandish shit in the final release. It definitely looks way more structurally sound and
it absolutely is.
More solid than I was expecting from the Overkill that released that terrible Walking Dead game.
Yeah, the levels feel very detailed. The idea of this heist is if you're... I never got to complete it on quiet because it just... When you're playing with randoms and you don't really have that much voice chat, like, it's almost impossible to do stealth. Especially when you're, like, level 1 characters. Right. But the loud experience of this is great every single time. It's also interesting that Overkill's idea for how loud encounters go is that you no longer basically have unlimited time to complete a heist. That was always the thing in Payday 2, where you could go as long as you had the ammo and resources to survive. In this, the rounds of assaults from the police get tougher every single time, to the point to where you get to round 4 And that's the final assault. That means the police are not going to stop coming, and they are going to...
You got to finish it or die, basically.
You got to finish or die. That is absolutely what happens. And it feels like such a good balance for forcing you to emphasize getting the hell out, because otherwise you can't just stick in a corner and survive as long as you can.
I do think for a game like this to be fun and successful, there needs to be stakes. So I do like the idea of rewarding people who are able to accomplish the objectives quicker than others. So
yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. When is this game supposed to actually come out?
This is September 21st.
Holy fuck, really?
Yeah.
I thought this was like coming out next year or something.
Say the line. Say the line, Nick. Say the line. I might actually play this multiplayer game.
I might. I'll do you one better, Brad. I might play this with you, Chris Davis.
I would also like to specifically point out that this
narrator,
one of the things that was the most limited part of Overkill going through its absolute bullshit it's had to deal with for the past 10 years was the departure of a lot of their senior leadership, but more specifically their composer and sound lead, Simon Viklund. Mm-hmm. He created an excellent soundtrack for Payday 2. So, like, if they did not have a good soundtrack for Payday 3, that was going to really hurt the experience. They only have, like, the one song for this beta, but it's a fucking banger. Like, okay. I want to
hear this. I'll be the judge of that, Chris Davis.
I will link it to you after the podcast.
I'm excited that Chris Davis is excited, but I feel like this like solidifies the point I was making earlier. Like, elves don't make this man's eyes light up like this shit does.
Bank robbers do.
Yeah, there's two different kinds of game players.
Everybody's got their thing, right?
Look, the best movies.
Everybody's got their gaming kink.
I'm saying that Twinkle is looking for Starfield more than
Crispy. What's your gaming
breach wizards? Yeah,
Crispy. What's your gaming kink?
Games that have penis sliders.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wish it was a slider. I wish I had more.
Yeah, right.
Control,
or it was like tied to like your constitution score or something. Like if you had high constitution, you had bigger genitals.
Yeah.
Also, you have a gnome with like a really high constitution.
Sorry, we're hijacking the end of Chris Davis's thing. Sorry.
I also want to say that the sound design is really interesting. They have really nailed sound localization. So when you hear combat in another room, it actually sounds like realistic combat in another room.
So you got directional awareness as well.
Very, very well done directional.
You didn't really have that in the second one? Because I feel like that'd be pretty important in a bank heist.
It was there, but not to this high quality.
Yeah.
You can
10
tell
years can make a hell of a difference.
I could tell in Payday 2 that a fight was happening in the distance, but in this, I can tell that it's happening in this room, in this corner of the building based on the acoustics. Like, it's cool. Really well done. My only worry about this game is they have post-launch plans for this game, and one of the things is that post-launch, they're switching engines.
What?
They are post-launch. This game is going to go to UE5, and okay, that's great. Unreal Engine 5 is supposed to be doing really well, but transitioning post-launch your fucking engine, that sounds
that's pretty unheard of. That's pretty unheard of. But here's the benefit. Here's the one thing I will say, because it seems to me that if you're planning on switching post-launch, the game is out and it will be in people's hands. People can play it. People can, hopefully love it. And if and then you can continue development trying to switch to a different engine. And if you just can't get it to work well in that other engine, you just won't launch it. You just like, okay, well we already have a working game. So if it's not working and running perfectly on this engine, we're just not going to release that part. We're just going to leave what's out there.
This is launching an early access?
This is 1.0.
Ooh, that's a mistake. Hey, why don't you bid on it?
Well, number one, I'm out of slots. But
yeah, that's right.
Number two, until this beta, like,
you want to trade something?
Was really worried about this game. Like, Overkill of 10 years ago isn't what Overkill is today. So, like,
speaking of
Chris Davis, would you like to trade? Here,
Stop it. We got to finish this shit.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Anyway, in conclusion, I'm looking forward to this game. Brad, you may now talk about Blasphemous.
Chris Davis, I'll trade you Sea of Stars for nothing, and you'll have a slot for Payday.
That's what you want to pick off his list?
I don't know you were trying to rush me, so I was just like looking at what's on there.
Sea of Stars smells like an 84 to me.
There is no scenario on this earth, even for Zelda, that I would trade Sea of Stars for.
Shut the fuck up. You wouldn't trade Sea of Stars for the already out Tears of the Kingdom?
For the prequel to my favorite game of 2018? Yes.
Wait, no. Stop.
That was a pretty good documentary, by the way.
You wouldn't take Tears of the Kingdom that's already out. Like if Nolan offered a trade, you can have Tears of the Kingdom. I just want Sea of Stars. You would decline that offer.
This is
Baldur's Gate 3. You wouldn't take that either, I'm assuming.
The heart chose this.
Chris Davis, you get the dunce award. You should be banned from next year's league.
Brad, I was certain I was going to lose this league from like minute 1. So
but
okay, well you probably wouldn't lose if you had Zelda, Chris Davis. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, Blasphemous 1. That's the game I'm playing.
Not to be confused with 2.
So here's the thing, right? Like people have, I feel like for a long time, people have kind of, pestered me about why I haven't played Blasphemous because it seems like
mainly
a Brad
Carlos
game, I guess.
I think it's mostly because you like to talk a lot of shit about it when you haven't played it.
But I haven't talked a lot of shit. That's the thing. I've never talked to shit about Blasphemous. I've always asked a lot of. So what it was is like, I was always skeptical of it, and I missed like the launch window. And you know how we are on this site; we're always moving on to bigger and better games. And once the game is out of season, out of year, you really have to like have a good argument for why you're going to spend your time playing that versus like a shiny new game you could talk about on the podcast or whatever, right? And that's what happened with Blasphemous, right? I was just, I don't know, playing fucking Divinity. I don't know what the fuck I was playing, but I missed that launch, like where everyone's playing it, which is probably good because the game
I did too
a lot over the years. Sure, whatever, Nick. We're not talking about you. And for a long time, and I know Carlos was really excited. He was like super excited about that game because the developer of Blasphemous.
You have the wrong overlay on. Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
It says Dead Island 2. Sorry.
Well, I might have done that for Payday 3 as well.
The developer of Blasphemous developed like these like indie adventure horror games that like Carlos fucking adores. So he was like always super excited for Blasphemous, more so than anyone. And then he was like, "Oh, I don't really like it," and then he played it again. He's like, "Oh, I don't really like it." Eventually, he played it more recently, and he was like, "Oh, I really like this game." But I've always been a little skeptical of this game, and it's not just this game specifically. It was more like the genre. I guess I'm pretty picky about my Metroidvanias. I like Metroid and Castlevania, and if you come at those, you better bring something nice to the table. Sometimes it happens. Look at Hollow Knight; it's fucking incredible, right? But I don't know. There's a lot of like 8-hour indie Metroidvanias that aren't very deep, and it's never really what I'm looking for in the genre. It's just one I've always been really skeptical of. But I knew this one was kind of soulsy, and I was always suspicious that the people who I knew really liked this game were really into the things that are like obviously really good about it, right? Like it's a really nice looking pixel art game. It has like really cool, crazy, monstrous characters and lots of gore and stuff. It's like cool shit to look at if you're into cool,
dark religious imagery and shit.
Yeah, right. And then like it's like fully voice acted, and that voice acting is good and soulsy, and the story's like good and soulsy, and it looks nice, and the music is nice, and it's atmospheric and shit. Basically, all the shit that's not actually the part where you play the video game is the people, like all people were fucking talking about, right? And I knew that's the shit I was never gonna care enough. I was never gonna care as much about that stuff as people like Carlos or other people in our community, or even you, Nick, right? The story boys, the lore boys, whatever. That's fine. More power to you. But I knew I was always going to play this game because it's still a Metroidvania. It's still a Souls game. And I play those games. I love those games. And you know what? I've played all the Souls games and beaten them. And I don't give a shit about the stories. I couldn't tell you about the story in any of those games or any character in those fucking games. I don't care. I don't care.
You just know they're good, though. When you're watching it, you know they're good.
No, when I'm
Does that
watching
make
it, I
sense?
don't give a shit. I'm not paying attention. I'm thinking about my build or something, you know? It's just
You're
how
a
I play
weird.
these games. I still
You're a weirdo.
love them. I'm not a weirdo. That's the
I'm
thing.
kidding, Brad. I'm
Just
just fucking kidding you.
no. It's a good point because it's a point of contention to like act like that. Like people love that shit in those games, but to act like that's all the game fucking offers is like insanity, right? They're incredible,
Well, sure. I
action
don't think it,
RPGs for so many reasons, right?
but like
And I
you
was just
do
a little
realize.
skeptical that Blasphemous was going to be more than all that stuff on the surface,
Okay,
the
you've talked for
superficial
like
stuff,
five
if you
minutes
will.
now on like how you perceive this game in the past. Now you're actually playing it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like,
playing it, and like you know what, I really like it, and it's because I like this type of game. I like this type of game, and I do think that stuff that all y'all like, I don't care about it as much. I think it elevates it, obviously, but not as much as maybe I thought it was going to be. You know, I feel like there could maybe be like more of that stuff, or it could be a little more out there. For the most part, when you're playing this game moment to moment, you're just playing, a Soulsy Metroidvania, and like that
right.
stuff is good, but it really is like pretty standard in some ways. It's fun to play. It is one that has been improved a lot over the years, from what I understand. Like they've
Yeah.
done a lot of quality of life stuff. I was kind of struggling a little bit early on because the game gives you lots and lots and lots of items, and I didn't know what any of this shit was. None of it did fucking anything. I've I was collecting bones, and I found out later that there was like, I don't know, like 100 of them or something, and none of it was doing anything. And I'm like, this is a Metroidvania. I'm getting all this shit, and it's not doing anything because this wants to be a fucking Souls game, and that's what a Souls game does. So I'm guessing this game is going to do it. It so wants to be a Souls game, and that's fine. It For the most part, it kind of succeeds on that stuff, down to like some of the details of, NPCs. You come back to an NPC and they're just dead and they have like an item on the ground. That's like, that's so soulsy, and,
Or like the role of an NPC changes because you did something in the game, and
yeah.
like then the
But
way you
again,
interact with them with a specific item.
I don't really care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just like this type of game. I love Castlevania, and this is kind of like a Castlevania. I mean, it's not an Igavania. This isn't like secretly an RPG with insane systems and loot and rarity. And, it's not that. It's kind of like, when you get down to it, it's kind of like a basic bitch one of these, but it is like pretty good at that. I think it's just elevated by that stuff that y'all love and I, appreciate. I just am not as into it. Like
Sure.
I don't these characters are talking and even I'm not even listening to them. It's like, what, shut up. What do you like, speak in English, you jerk. And give me the item I need to level up my flasks,
Racist,
okay?
xenophobic.
No, it's just not for me. This is why I've always been skeptical. And when people are saying like, and then when I tell them that, they're like, "How can you not be into that shit? You don't even like Souls games." Like, no, we're just different. And I ended up
People,
playing this game, and I ended up really liking it. It's not perfect. I think
people
the
in the
combat might
Discord.
be like one of the weakest parts of this game. I think your weapon has like very few moves, and like they feel really imbalanced. Some of them even seem completely useless. And for a game where you don't have many moves, to have a couple of them be more or less completely useless, it's like that's like some really serious design issues. Like they need to get that shit figured out. And it's one of these things I do hope gets figured out for the sequel, because it seems like, like for example, like the death blow system, where like sometimes you can trigger like the thing where you can go do like a glory kill, like in every other game on the planet. The most like 101 most basic bitch design shit is to figure out what can the player get out of doing this long animation that potentially puts them in danger because they're standing in place doing this animation. In Blasphemous 1, it does nothing. They do nothing with it.
It
There's
just looks
literally
cool.
no reason to do that. You could just hit them
Other
once
than
and then they die.
it
It's
looks cool.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
I
Not
know.
a
I get what you're
single
saying.
fucking game designer on the planet would do nothing with that. It's a sign that like, what are you doing? And so but it's good. It's one of these. I like one of these. I've always liked these kinds of
The
games.
exploration is
So
good.
it's it ain't like Metroid exploration,
It's pretty close.
it's not.
I think
It's not. It's fine. It's fine. This is a really good Metroidvania Souls game that is elevated by this stuff. that is obvious, the stuff you're seeing, the stuff you're hearing, and that's fine. And from the sounds of it, the sequel is that too. But they have refined some of the controls. I am hearing the sequel is a little more like platformery, which is fine because there's new mechanics surrounding that. But I also get worried a little bit because like the bloodstained DLC in here are like really kind of boring, uninspired platforming challenges. And I kind of wish there was just like enemies in there because it's like honestly kind of boring and dull. And you land on some spikes and you have to do it all over again. And it wasn't that fun the first time. And I'm like, well, I hope they really step up their platformer game in the sequel, which I hear they do, because this shit really wasn't that whatever. It was DLC. They just sort of threw it in there, but it's kind of like, I'd rather like fight some things. I'd rather like fight 5 things at once. But I do think the sequel also has like combat rooms, which are nice because if they really are stepping up the mechanics and the weapon variety, then I want more to do with the combat.
Right.
But it's good. It's a good one of these. It really is, and I'm glad I played it. But like this, and people are still skeptical, like, oh, why did Brad don't like this game? Like me playing a game before the sequel comes out is something I like never do. Even when I say I'm going to do it, even when I convince myself I'm going to do it, I never do this. I rarely go back to older games, but to like play like the previous one right before the sequel comes out, like find 3 times where I do that in the history of this fucking podcast.
I
It's
can't.
very, very uncommon. So like,
Right.
me playing Blasphemous 1 right now in 2023 with Baldur's Gate, with Zelda, all the stuff I played this year unfinished, like that should mean that I was serious when I said I was always wanting to play this game and I was planning to play the sequel, and I'm doing it. And it's
I'm
not just
glad you
and
played it.
it's not just to prove that point. I'm playing it because it's good. It's addictive. Like any good Metroidvania should be addictive. This is.
Yeah. Well,
But
I'm
like
glad.
it's no fucking Hollow Knight. Like the crazies out there that say like Blasphemous is like above Hollow Knight or even close to Hollow
No,
Knight,
I
you're
would
out of your
never say. I
fucking
would never
mind.
say. I would never say this is
You
better than
maybe
Hollow
not.
Knight.
You're a sensible person.
Well, I mean, I would also classify this as, but like when I try and think of some of my favorite Metroidvanias, this would be up there. Even though I don't think it really holds a candle to Hollow Knight in terms of overall
but
quality,
and I think a lot of the lore boys would agree with you. That's the thing, and I think they're probably going to say that about the sequel. I just hope that the sequel's there for people like me as well, which I think it is. But we are living in a post.
Say it, Brad. Say it.
Baldur's Gate 3 world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a post Silksong world. Thank God Silksong hasn't come out yet. Because imagine trying to play this game in a post Silksong world, it would just seem very dull.
I think the timing on this one might be right.
This game
except for the fact that it's right next to Baldur's Gate. But
Blasphemous should be crazier than it is. Like you see these characters and you see this world, like this stuff. The imagery there is there, but like the game itself is like feels pretty like.
It needs to step up its it needs to
like it needs to get wild. It needs to get wild in ways that Hollow Knight gets wild. Some of the most memorable games get wild.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's Blasphemous. I'm glad I'm playing it.
I'm glad you
20
played
hours in. I'm like 80% through the game. I am very distracted right now, but it's a game I'm playing on my Switch. I'm not bringing my Steam Deck to like work. So on my lunches, I'm playing this. So when I want to take a break from Baldur's Gate, this is the one I've been playing, so it's good.
Cool.
It's good.
Well, I'm glad you played it. And I'm looking forward to playing and talking about the sequels, which will be at the end of this month. So
here's a little easy.
I don't know what taking a break from Baldur's Gate is. I don't think that's physically possible for me.
I'm playing.
I just mean like part of the day. Stop playing Baldur's Gate.
I am splitting all of my time right now between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, because I will not let Tears of the Kingdom go unfinished, and I will not let all these other games that I want to play come out while both of these games sit there unfinished. So as much as I want to be playing Baldur's Gate 3 all of the time, I am forcing myself to devote time to Tears of the Kingdom. Chris Davis, just weeks ago, you were like, Nick, what? How have you not finished Tears of the Kingdom? Blah blah blah. It's just I want to finish Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, Robin finished Tears of the Kingdom today.
I have said nothing to that effect tonight, and I am not making an accusation there. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Not tonight.
I don't think I can stop until I roll credits. Like
Good
there
for you.
is nothing
You
in my
also play
life but
games at a
Baldur's
pace
Gate
that's
until it's
not
done.
like us. So I'm glad you can.
I
do
will
that.
be playing.
He
I
also
will
stopped and played a
realistically.
whole Dave the Diver, recently. You didn't do that, Chris Davis.
I will
That's true.
realistically be playing Baldur's Gate 3 as my side chick for like the rest of the year,
Your
probably.
side chick? How dare you?
That's my side chick.
That is, I agree with. I don't often agree with Brad, but yeah, how dare you?
Are you saying
Baldur's
that
Gate is
because
your
it's my
main chick,
side
okay?
because it's the side game, not the focus game?
Baldur's Gate is worthy of being it's the bigger, better game. It should be your focus game.
It will be my focus whenever there's not something else. Like when any game comes out that I can finish in like 20 hours comes out, I'm gonna kind of put Baldur's Gate to the side so I can finish the game that I know I can finish fairly quickly. Like that's just how I work. That's how I finish like 50 games in a year. It's because I focus on the things that are shorter. I prioritize
you have 3
those.
seconds to answer. You have 3 seconds to answer. What's the Open Critic score for Armored Core 6? Go.
79.
72.
7. Wow. Chris Davis, 3 seconds to answer. Go.
78.
Wow. Y'all are lower than where I'm guessing. Okay. Chris Davis, Crispy, I mean?
I can only I can only spare 8 points. Is all I can do. I'm sorry.
For
Crispy.
Blasphemous?
No, we're talking about Armored Core 6.
Oh, 93.
3 seconds.
Yeah,
93?
93.
93?
Yeah, it's gonna
their
fucking
highest
propel
rated
me.
game pre Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
We live in a post Elden Ring world. 93. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's put Chris Davis in the fucking ground.
Look, man, I'll be happy to give you that $20. I will. It ain't hitting.
At the end of the day, a 90 is a win for all of us. So
yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap this show up.
Not a win for all of us.
No. I'm not.
Not
I'm
for
saying
Chris Davis.
You take Fantasy Critic out of the equation.
Oh yeah. No, I'm very
90.
excited.
We all win. We're all going to be playing great video games. That's the important thing here.
I want y'all to predict
I wonder
right
if that's
now.
a dick slider.
How many people on this podcast finish Armored Core?
0.
2.
My guess. 2.
And who are those people?
Chris Davis, of course. And I'm gonna say, of all of us here, probably you, Nick. Just because you finish more games.
But it's gonna be Crispy. I think it's gonna be Crispy.
No, I think Crispy's gonna love it more than y'all, but I don't think he's gonna finish it.
Crispy not finish a game.
I feel called out.
Crispy, what was the last game you saw credits roll for? Go.
I've never been more insulted by something I 100% agreed with.
Okay, let's wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. You know how this works. Final thoughts for the evening. Brad, start us off. Go.
Oh shit! I had one.
Lost it.
No, I got it. Okay, this is a little bit of a sweat about Baldur's Gate 3, and it's about Act 3. It is about all the talk about how buggy it is, and it's about the knowledge that I know Larian is probably, high alert, going, we got to fix this. The thing is, I did finish Divinity Original Sin. I never finished Original Sin 2 because I got to the final act of Original Sin 2. And by the time I did that, I played, very slowly. It's when Henry was born, I was adoring and I played it for over 200 hours. Right. Everyone was saying like, it's really buggy. It kind of falls apart. And Larian's like, we're going to completely redesign Act 3. We're going to completely redesign Act 3, like completely. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to wait for that. And I did. And then it came out and they said, your save does not carry over. And this is why I didn't finish Divinity Original Sin 2, because I couldn't play the new Act 3 after having played the game for dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. So you think that's going to happen here? No, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen here, but it got me thinking that maybe I should wait. I'm not going to stop playing the game, but I'm playing it my Steam says I played 67 hours of this game. I have not finished Act 1. There are like big things in Act 1 I have not done. Granted, maybe like 10 of that is idle time, maybe. I've been playing a lot of this game. I think I'm going to keep going at that very slow pace. And if I'm just sort of like squeaking into like credits at the end of the year, maybe I'll be happy because patches aren't going to stop for this game. Not a game this big. And it's only going to get better. I'm just hoping they don't break it. And I hope they don't announce
like they
an
kind of
edition.
did with Hotfix 4.
Like they did yesterday. Which,
Yes.
by the way, after they pushed that hotfix, the only crash I've ever gotten was after that hotfix. It sucked. I hate it.
But I just been thinking a lot about it because Divinity Original Sin 2 is a game I adore. I mean, I think I like it more than the first one outside the combat system. Or I do like it in every way more outside the combat system than the first game. Divinity Original Sin 1 was my favorite combat system that Larian has done. I probably still feel that way. But everything else has gotten better and better and better. And they've made like the ultimate RPG here. And I want my Act 3 to be a thing for like a thing to remember and not a thing
Baldur's
to like. I've heard like really people have been getting really upset. Like people have gone from like this is my favorite game of all time till okay, it is still one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm really mad about
there's some asterisks.
Yes.
Well, this is kind of another reason why I feel like I would be benefited doing what I was talking about, where it's kind of like when a new game comes out, I kind of move this to the sideline for a second to focus, because I would like to be in Brad's camp, where I get to the end, I get to Act 3, and they've patched a lot of this shit out. And I feel like that'll kind of just naturally happen if I'm willing to kind of move it off and on my main plate.
Yeah. Yeah, your side chick, like you said.
Yeah,
Nick.
my
Jeez.
side chick. What? It's a common term. Nobody.
Is it a common term in your?
We know what a
your
side
locker
chick
room,
is. It feels wrong that you're making Baldur's Gate 3 a side chick.
Only when
Baldur's Gate 3 is pure wife material.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't know, man. It's okay. Sorry, maybe I lost the thread a little bit. You know what I mean? I just mean I'm shifting my priorities back and forth because.
Are y'all still on the Shadowheart train?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
No,
he's like the main character of Act 2.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
Shadowheart has a good.
Also, it's working out quite well for me because I'm doing the Dark Urge shit.
She's great.
She has like a bunch of dark shit going on with her character, which is kind of like really naturally lining up with mine.
Can I ask y'all something without spoiling?
Also, how many of you guys are doing? Go ahead.
How much is Jaheira relegated to like being like a very side character?
I don't even know who that is.
Do you want the actual?
I've only just met her.
It's a Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 character. And
she's very much an NPC.
I don't want Chris Davis to say anything, but she can join your party, right?
Wait, you don't want him to say anything, but then answer this huge question.
No. I heard.
I don't know.
She could join your party.
I guess so. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Like, okay. I only kind of.
Well, I mean, Howson was an NPC before he joined. You know.
Right.
Okay.
Howson
I don't want Chris Davis to say anything because he's bad at not spoiling things.
Isn't Howson like a full origin character though? Like, can't you play as him? No, you can't.
He's not
can
an origin
you?
character.
All right, 4-player minute, guys.
Okay, but she's not the same as Howson. I don't think.
We can't spiral back into Baldur's Gate 3 talk.
No, I don't think she's like a full companion. If she does join you, it's only
limited. All right, fuck me then.
I'm sorry.
Wait, okay.
4-player minute, Brad. This is a 4-player minute.
Oh, it's over. It's over.
All right, Chris Davis, you go next.
I'm sorry, Nick. Baldur's Gate 3 has consumed my life. There is nothing outside it.
Even with all the elves.
There is nothing else in life but Baldur's Gate 3 right now. It's eat, sleep, work, Baldur's Gate. Nothing else there. I am so glad that I bought this. I'm so glad that I bought this on GOG instead of Steam because I really don't want people to know how many hours I've put into it. You're so
perfectly willing to talk about your 500 hours playing Payday 2. I don't think you're going to top it, or your 800 hours in the Division. Like,
Nick, you don't understand.
Or your 12 minutes in Perception?
Nick, 45 minutes, first off. Nick, you don't understand. The problem isn't how many hours I put into it as a whole. It's in the perspective of how many hours I've put in since the game launched.
Right. In a week.
We get it. That's. I mean,
how many hours a day? That sort of thing.
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's
playing this goddamn game like it's my job.
It's time as a concept my brain can no longer process for whenever Baldur's Gate 3 comes on.
I wish I could play it like it was my job but like when my PC is running this game, my whole room is heating up, so I can only play for like in 2-hour like spurts, and then I have to like leave the room because I'm like sweating my ass off.
You got to get one of those like water cooled suits that like racers wear.
That
like,
sounds great.
Race car drivers,
like they're ice pumps, ice pump water,
with the hoses all over the suit.
I want to look like Mr. fucking Freeze over here.
He's keep pumping out so much heat.
I don't know,
because it's got good fans.
Yeah. I've got good fans.
But my real problem is that I want to get through this game, and I would really, really prefer if I beat this game by Monday. And
what?
You're a psychopath.
It is psychopathic to be hopeful about that, because I forgot that Shadow Gambit was coming out this month. I just completely skipped my mind until Pioche mentioned it this morning.
Big fan, dude. It's on your fantasy critic.
Chris Davis, you could
9 days Armored Core.
You could just find a nice spot to kind of like set your characters off and save, and then you can put down Baldur's Gate, blow through Shadow Gambit in like probably 15 hours or something, and then go back to Baldur's Gate feeling totally refreshed. That's what I do. It's great.
That's not how my brain operates.
I'm so into Baldur's Gate. I really couldn't give a shit about Starfield.
I have to. I
know.
I play 1, maybe 2 games at a time. That's it. So
it feels disrespectful that like
I do too, which is why I'm not going to let both of those games be 100+ hour games. I'm just not.
No, I have to complete it. I have to roll credits. Otherwise, I'm not satisfied with myself, and I hate myself. So I have to finish this.
That sounds like
finish Shadow Gambit, and then I have Armored Core and Sea of Stars and fucking Starfield in less than 20 days.
What if Sea of Stars
I'm hurting
is like
inside.
kind of mid though?
Yeah.
Dude, Sea of Stars looks great. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That game looks great.
It looks
great. I'm so excited.
The graphics are pretty.
It's not going to be racist like the Plucky Spire, okay? That's just not realistic, Brad.
So racist it got pushed back to 2024.
Oh my god, yeah.
So racist.
What's up with Bomb Rush? It really comes out tomorrow? There's no way it comes out tomorrow.
It's happening.
It is. I want to play that. I like the Jet Set Radio games. I like them a lot.
So anyway, yeah, like I'm in the gauntlet. The next 3 weeks is just going to be. I'm not even certain I'll make the podcast. Like it's consuming me. What's going on? So
I'm gonna need you to report here every Thursday for the podcast, though.
Mandatory.
Mandatory attendance
in uniform, please.
You got to be like Crispy here, wearing his 4-player uniform.
You're the one with the purse strings, Nick. You're the one who has to give me the shirt.
Apparently, though, Crispy's mother is going to make us all staff uniform.
Yeah, that's what I'm just send me your guys' t-shirt sizes.
XL.
I am so excited about that. Okay, Crispy, it is your turn.
Really, Nick?
Yeah, he loves a good polo. I gotta tell you, I haven't had like a reliable polo shirt that I've worn in like 10 years, and I kind of forget how comfy they are, and how like you can be comfy but look kind of professional. People don't give you weird looks in the drive-thru. Like,
yeah,
business casual is where you should be.
There it is. We're adults. Let's dress like it, gentlemen.
We're in our 30s. Our lives are over. Let's just
except
wear
for Brad.
Casual.
He's in his 40s.
Yeah, that's true. Chris Davis, you look like you sleep in that polo. I don't even know what that means.
It's like a second skin. All right, so my 4-player minute. I want to talk about romance in Baldur's Gate 3 because Brad keeps coming in here with his Shadowheart hatred, which, first of all, I don't get. Second of all, you guys keep talking about like who's best girl, like this game enforces monogamy on you, and I just want to make sure that like we're all living in that beautiful
Polygamous.
post-monogamy, polyamory, bisexual utopia, right?
This is
Because
not
like
free love, dude. I went up to
I have been,
Lizelle the other day, and she was like, "Get away
Lizelle
from
did
me."
have a
She was
problem
like, "Get
because
away
like
from me."
Lizelle at first was like, "I want to taste you" or whatever she says, which is really off-putting. And then I had a lovely evening with both Asterion and Shadowheart, and then she's like, "I would have liked to taste you, but you've already been picked over." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever. You fucking stuck-up bitch. That's fine. Nobody else cares." So like it's kind of like me and Shadowheart and Karlach and Asterion, and it's just like it's great, you know. It's like you should be treating this like a college sex romp.
I don't. Y'all are crazy though. Like I find Shadowheart. I like you. I mean, I use Shadowheart, right?
I
She's like
can
a
fix her,
great character in
Brad.
combat, in and out of combat. She's great. Serves a great purpose.
Brad's over
Fix
here trying to
her.
convince us we're all basic,
I think this
basic bitches.
character is I this might be controversial. I think Asterion also is kind of insufferable. I don't want him around me.
I never play with Asterion.
I get it. You guys are fucking bigoted against gay vampires. That's fine. Whatever.
No,
Whatever.
Brad's like, no, I love gay
love
vampires.
me some gay vampires. But
My
He's
wife's
great.
a gay vampire.
He's really nice once you like, throw him a bone or two, and then he's like really
Throw him a
sweet.
what?
And, like, a bone,
Oh,
a
a bone or
dickin'.
two. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you just got to let him suck you off. Just
A
at least
good
once.
old fashioned
it's just
dickin',
his
Nick.
voice. It's just his voice sounds so like insufferable. I can't
He's
do it.
good.
I love his voice, man.
I
It's
prefer the
so
term previously loved, Sonji.
Look,
Like,
I
usable
appreciate.
toys.
I was going to romance Shadowheart. I think she's great. I think she's got a good character arc. That was until I met Karlach, and Karlach,
I mean,
that's
Karlach
what it
is undoubtedly like the most down to earth. She's just like,
all right, let's.
I'm
be
here
careful.
for a
I
good
haven't even met
time.
this character yet.
No, I know.
You haven't
I know.
met Karlach? Don't fuck
Yeah.
up, dude. You
I mean,
better
she's
find
cool. Like,
Yeah,
she's
you gotta
just like
find her.
chill. She's punk rock. She's down for anything. She's like, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. And it's like, I can work with that.
So she really shouldn't be throwing a wrench in any of my current romantic plans.
No. But like when
Except
you
she
meet
should.
her, like it's really easy to build affection with her, and like she's got this whole thing where like she can't touch people, so that just makes her like way hornier than she should be. And then she's like, oh, I just want to like.
She's like a
fucking
rogue,
touch.
like a rogue character, like a rogue-esque, like
Karlach?
X-Men rogue-esque
No,
character.
Her whole thing is
Wait,
like,
okay, no, don't spoil it. I want to
God.
discover this organically. Okay.
Okay, then go. Why you 30 hours into the game? When are you gonna
I mean,
discover it, Nick?
You have experienced a character like this. You played Tales of Arise.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that?
mean,
Remember?
it is
the
rogue.
characters?
It is rogue. Like that's it. It doesn't matter like what the lore specifics are. It's the exact same kind of emotional arc as Rogue from the X-Men. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. All right.
Would it help you, Nick, if I told you what direction to go into?
No. Stop.
Okay.
Shut up.
All right.
Don't act
You'll-
like I'm not going
you'll
to spend 60
find
plus
her.
hours in Act
I don't
1.
know
I'm
how
like,
you've been in that map for 30 hours and haven't found her, but whatever.
Exactly,
She's
yeah.
there. Anyway, bridges.
I've
Look for
spent like
bridges.
6 hours in this
Look for
stupid
bridges,
goblin
Nick.
camp.
Look for bridges. Anyway,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm just saying, guys. Like I just feel like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're only effing and s-ing one companion. You know.
Okay. Good to
And
know.
it's yeah, like Withers has like a whole fucking harem of zombie people too. If that like does anything for you.
You can bang those people?
What made you think I was going to
no.
be monogamous? I'm saying I just
No,
find
I mean,
Shadowheart a little insufferable.
oh well, I mean, you're just incorrect there. She's amazing and just needs a little bit of help, and I think I can really change her life if she lets me in. You know.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes.
All right.
I'm a bard. She let me in, and it wasn't that interesting.
You shut up, Brad. Okay. Real quick, because we didn't mention it at the top of the show, I'm going to try not to sink into a Baldur's Gate 3 hole here. But so we did have a delay I forgot to mention. Alan Wake 2 slipped. It slipped to October 27th, and it moved from 3 days before Spider-Man 2 to 7 days after Spider-Man 2, and I don't know if that's good or bad, because my plan, my original plan was to just like poop sock Alan Wake 2. The same way I poop socked Alan Wake 1 before Red Dead Redemption, I was going to poop sock Alan Wake 2 and then be ready for Spider-Man 2. Now, I feel like I have a week to beat Spider-Man 2 before playing Alan Wake 2.
Of all these interesting games that came out this year, Spider-Man's just there being.
Well, that's in your opinion.
Good 87. It's gonna be.
I'm super fucking hyped for Spider-Man 2.
Look, here's the thing: is that this was Remedy reading the room this time around with Alan Wake and realizing we have to get the fuck out of the way of Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Like,
but they also in the mean, they were like, they released a statement about like, hey, we recognize October is a great month for playing video games. We want to get everybody enough time to play with what they want to play, right? And they just totally shat all over Alone in the Dark, which comes out 2 days before Alan Wake 2, which I'm not saying ever really had a shot, but before it wasn't. Alone in the Dark was kind of sitting in this, like, there was at least a little bit of
it felt safe in its own Halloween bubble.
Yes, it felt safe in its own Halloween bubble.
Those two games are very different. Alan Wake is a survival horror game, and Alone in the Dark is a bad game. Those are different genres.
Shut the fuck up. I'm going to play Alone in the Dark, even if it's bad, probably.
I'll wait for reviews.
You're crazy. You're a lunatic.
We're all. If there's one thing I've learned tonight, or over the past 14 years of doing this podcast,
is to not trust you, because you said that about Redfall too.
We're all a little psycho in our own ways. We're all a little crazy. Man, why do you have to bring up Redfall? Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, also, just gonna throw this out there. Sabotage Studio released a lovely little documentary about the making of Sea of Stars, which got me very excited for this project.
Is that good? Do I need to watch that? I'm still waiting to be sold on that game.
Then watch it. It's a nice like 25-30 minute documentary. We're
living in a post Chained Echoes
Shut the
world.
fuck up, Brad. It's not Psych Odyssey, but go watch it. It's just a nice
Chained Echoes.
Also, totally didn't realize this is such a deep fucking cut. If there's any metalheads listening, they might know what I'm talking about here, but I didn't realize the guy who's leading on, he does like the music and shit for Sabotage and a lot of the sound design and shit and the ambience sound and stuff is one. No, he's from Necrogoblikon, which is like this crazy over the top metal band that
they have a goblin.
They have a goblin as like their lead singer. I had no idea, but I was like, there's no, like, they just kind of like
the Hobgoblin.
In passing. They just kind of.
It's not. It's a regular goblin. It's like a short little green one.
In the documentary, they just kind of like in passing mention his like background and doing like metal music, and then they show shots of like, I was like, that's Necrogoblikon, and then I Google it. It's like, there's no way. Google, like, I pull a picture of the band. There he is, just with the band, with the goblin. I'm like, that is random, and I fucking love it. I'm here for it. My point is, this game is, I think, looking wonderful. You should go check it out. It's a nice quick watch. It's 30 minutes or so, and it really got me kind of just feeling the vibe and the love. It actually made me really interested in playing The Messenger, because I've actually never done that.
It's not
but I don't have time. So I'm gonna Sea of Stars is gonna be my first Sabotage Studio game, and I'm excited for it. So go check it out. I'll put a link to that documentary in the show notes, because we like to do that here. And that's it. That's our show tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy Baldur's Gate 3 as much as we do. We hope you're playing it. You should go do that if you're not already. Next week,
let it consume you.
Just let it wash over you. It's great. Next week, we're going to be talking about Gamescom in a post-Gamescom world. So we'll talk about whatever the fuck happens there. We'll probably talk about more Baldur's Gate. We'll have maybe Shadow Gambit to talk about. Baldur's Gate 3 to talk about. We'll have more to talk about next week. So obviously, tune in next week, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central, for another episode. If you're not in our Discord, please make sure you're there. Jump in. That's the easiest way to stay on top of our community and be a part of the discussions and all that stuff. You can find us at discord.gg/4Player. But for now, be good to each other. play video games. Good night.